burning the building down be mostly peaceful protest, White House? Would be blowing up ATMs? Would that be, well, that's not really peaceful protest. We didn't hear any of that then. We heard the 99% peaceful protest. The other sets off a tactical nuclear weapon. Oh, well, that was only 0.1%. And if true, the way to play with these idiots that I would pursue if I were Republicans, or I'd be trying to track down in the media, the big interview for me, Dan, would be apparently 3 janitors who were held hostage for a period of time in that building by these punks. Now, I think the janitors, I'm kind of surprised, if fully true how long it was, would beat the hell out of them. That's what they should have done.
Why did they just push their way out? I don't think these kids are very intimidating.
Yeah, they keep blocking you like this. One guy just flattens one of them, and that's it. They're out of there. Yeah. But they've been asked about that all day long. There appears to be some evidence that maybe they had them locked in somewhere. They were doing something. Now, if that doesn't enrage people, this taking of the building, here is one Columbia. No, is this the kid who said, yeah, it was like a scene from The Shining, cut 14.
Are you seeing, and what's your reaction to all this?
Well, the most remarkable scene that I saw was someone smashing the windows of the doorway of Hamilton Hall in with a hammer, almost like a scene from The Shining. And I also saw a student who was trying to prevent them from continuing to barricade the doors. And then he was essentially corralled by another human chain of pro-Palestinian protesters and basically lifted up and shoved out and called a Zionist. And he was physically assaulted. And again, there's utter silence from public safety, from NYPD. So we feel alone on this campus.
Now, here's the story I've been saving up to this moment all day, just ready to burst with it. And it's before this most recent activity. It's a Forbes story that's out, but they were doing the reporting on this well before this current punkery on the Columbia and these other Ivy League schools like the Pennites here. The Ivy League says Forbes may be forfeiting its standing as America's producer of great talent.
Oh, somebody called that a couple weeks ago.
A new Forbes survey reveals that 33% of hiring managers in the big companies admit they are less likely to hire Ivy League graduates than 5 years ago.
Nice call, Dom.
So right here is something you got to love. Now, I know there are some people listening, Dan, and I don't know how it happened. I'm not fully in that camp that just resent college of any type. I don't. I get it. There's a lot of baggage. You don't have to go to college, all that stuff. But this idea of the Ivy League, this idea of how many Supreme Court justices, they go to undergrad at Harvard, then they go to Yale for law school or that kind of thing. I admit certain kinds of class warfare, I'm definitely in on. I mean, I just see punks all over the place. You know what I mean? And you just want to meet them on an even playing field to see what they're made of, and probably not too much many times. Like you mentioned, these janitors versus these Columbia University kids. I take the 3 janitors against 500 of them.
For a great kung fu movie.
yeah.
Could you imagine 3 janitors stuck inside a building
with
and
the mobs? Yes,
mobs of protesters with purple hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Horn-rimmed glasses coming at them.
They'd be mopping them up with them, and also with the Mideastern garb over their face and saying "free, free," bang. You know, we got to track that story. The janitor is the guy I'd like to invite to Mulligan's. Get one of them down there. That's my favorite story of this whole thing. They were in the building doing their work, and somehow or another they got contained there for a while until I think they were able to break out of there. It's amazing. So now they've gone too far in the minds of even the White House, The Shining. But this Forbes story says that they're not saying they're not looking, big companies, big Wall Street, big national tech, all that. They're not going with these Ivy League punks. Now, not everybody goes to an Ivy League school. Matt DeSantis is perfect. I was shocked when I first heard Matt went to Harvard, weren't you?
Yeah.
I worked with him for years.
Wait, hold on. That's not nice.
I don't mean it in a negative way.
You're shocked to hear someone went to Harvard.
Well, he never exhibited anything that would, in my negative impression of
Yes,
Harvard
no, you're
students.
100% right. He is
Yeah,
not.
he's the most laid
When you
back.
think of Harvard, you think of like
Yes,
tightly wound and yeah,
yes.
no, Matt's a very cool guy.
Yeah, he's very, very down to earth. The most of most producers that I've seen here. Yeah.
Well,
Matt DeSantis,
hey.
Harvard. I thought Dan might have
Got Anthony
been
in here
it.
reacting negatively to that
Might
one
have been
too.
at Yale, but not Matt DeSantis. So there is a certain antagonism I've always had toward these people. Now I realize, oh come on, bro would be telling me, yeah, that's stereotyping, and by and large, there's a certain amount of truth to it, and they're exhibiting it by holding the janitors in there. So Lawrence Jones got this one woman, and she said false narrative twice, and then said, "Get out of my face." She couldn't take a third question. It's playing out right here, and this Forbes study says these managers are looking at state schools. They're thinking, this Ivy League stuff. A lot of these people are what legacy people. They went there because mommy and daddy gave money. Tony Soprano's daughter at Columbia, I think it was, wasn't it? In The Sopranos?
Was it, or was it Emory or Brown?
No, it was in New York.
It was Columbia then.
It
or
was
it NYU?
No, it wasn't
Hold on,
NYU.
I'll
No,
look
it was
it
a
up.
biggie. It was Columbia. I'm believing it was Columbia. Yeah. And Tony Soprano had to put 50 grand up toward a building or something to keep Meadow in there, right? And the idea that, Jim says it was Columbia. It was. The idea that Forbes now reporting with all these managers nationwide, they're looking past the Ivy League. That's a good thing. We're seeing more people even look past college and say it's not necessary. In many instances, that's a good thing. Okay, here is, thank you. This woman, I don't know how Lawrence Jones put up with it. By the way, this woman was pretty big too. I've stood next to him. He's taller than me, so I would have had to really stand on my tippy toes to be towering over this one.
I'd
have to call
standing
Dan
on a
in.
curb and him not.
Oh, maybe that's her. She wouldn't be wearing heels, not the type. All right, here's Lawrence Jones with the Columbia protester.
How do you feel about them taking over the building right now?
I think that their cause is a just cause, and I hope that the administration really hears their demands. I think they're just demands.
Do you feel like it was right to hold 3 of the janitor workers hostage inside of the building?
I think that's a really false narrative.
That's what the janitors are saying, that they weren't allowed to leave.
I think that that's a really false narrative.
Even if the janitors are saying that, you're saying that that's not true.
I think that it's a really false narrative that the students took anyone hostage.
How do you feel about some of the Jewish students saying that they don't feel safe here on campus?
I think that this is also a really false narrative that's being promoted.
And broken record.
October 7th and the attack
Is it
that
a false
happened
narrative?
is a false narrative?
Oh,
Do you believe that some of the
that's a good
women were
one,
raped?
Mark.
Colleague just came back.
So this is what happened.
Can you get out of my face, please?
So this is what you
No,
you
I
see
can't
at
get out of your face.
these protests. Once you get into the nitty gritty of what happened on October the 7th, the rape of women, what's happening there, they deny what happened. As you know, that is actually factual now, that the janitorial workers were blocked inside of the building. And anytime you bring that up, the Jewish cause, the Jewish people, the kids that feel unsafe on campus, they deny the reality of it, guys.
Can I do a Donovan chest pat? Because I talked
Yeah.
over where it turned there.
Yeah.
Can I just play that back?
Yeah, go ahead.
Seconds?
I think that this is also a really false narrative that's being promoted.
Do you think October 7th and the attack that happened is a false narrative? Do you believe that some of the women were raped?
Colleague just came back.
So this is what happened.
Can you get out of my face, please?
So
The ultimate passive aggressive. I don't know why it's Heinz Hall. I'll have to look that up. All right. One other quick thing, more progress. I'll give you all the details. And Don Jr. has cut a promo for mail-in balloting, early voting, mail-in balloting. The president said it on Truth Social. He needs to just go public. The numbers are up. That's good, but they're not up enough. They're not up nearly enough to crash the barrier where we beat them. And that's all that matters. That is all that matters, winning. Yeah, I'll say it. Well, Dom, don't you have to win with winning legally? Okay, legally where you're not going to jail or anything else. Legally, winning. That's what matters. All right, Dan, you got a great cut. Is this Don Jr.?
No, I'm sorry. This is just the Columbia editor-in-chief. He was explaining the significance of Hamilton Hall if you wanted to
Oh,
hear.
yeah. Let's hear why they
from
went after that.
Yeah, so it was a very surreal scene. I was in Butler Library, our main library, getting ready for finals, finishing up an assignment. I walk out. The encampment is alive. Everyone's marching around, and everyone's saying, they're going to occupy Hamilton Hall. And instantly I knew that this was an escalation because back in 1968, this was the big event that put Columbia on the map in terms of being a very activist school. And it really did a lot of harm to the university's reputation. They occupied Hamilton Hall back in 1968 to protest the Vietnam War, and now they're doing the same thing because they see this as a continuation of the same movement. This is a very important building for Columbia University and Columbia College. This is where the Dean of Columbia College is. It's where the Center for the Core Curriculum is, and that's the centerpiece of every student's academic experience.
All right, so that's why they're taking over this building. People have to understand, my takeaway covering the Occupy people, having him scream mic check, and Dan, I pretend like I'm talking, he'd scream mic check, I'd say a couple, is two things. It's their fun. I know this is bizarre, this bizarre stuff, this degradation is their fun. And two, they usually all get some title, like assistant communications director on the janitor matter. Get out of my face, that's my comment. They all get some little title. Their lives are empty. There's no great purpose. This is the great purpose. They're doing something to save lives in Gaza, to expose the United States. This is what they're about. Suspension is their highest honor. Maybe. If they get expelled, though, that's not going to be such a higher honor. Suspending them does little. Expelling them, that's what would do it. You take 10 to 20 of them and you expel them on the spot there. And that would do some damage. You're going to see a lot of others now not want to get involved. All right. The janitors are the story I'd be pursuing. Good for Lawrence Jones. You don't hear that on CNN, MSNBC. That's who I'd like to hear their eyewitness testimony. Hardworking guys doing janitorial, and they get in some way, shape, or form held by these idiots. And it would have a happy ending, Dan, if they pummeled them as they walked out of there while mopping up the floor with them. That's what I want to see. All right, 855-839-1210. Coming up, I'll give you a lot that was in this fine, $9,000 on President Trump, how the judge justified that. I still don't think he's going to send him to jail, even though there's going to be another hearing this week on more gag order situation. And we have the parent that led the protest over in North Penn. I watched that last night. They didn't hold a public meeting. You have one kid that gets hit in the head severely. You know the story now, by another. Unexplained why they didn't stop it. They still don't hold it publicly. They do it over Zoom. I mean, what kinds of people are they? And apparently someone's exposed them. Their big thrill was they got to meet with Madeline Dean and talk about all this.
Oh, joy.
Can you imagine what's that meddler doing in this?
Decency.
What's Madeline Dean? You know what it is, Dan? She's ready to jump into the ring. If she hears any more of this subtext that maybe this kid's transgender, she gets that. She's on the trail. That's all she cares about. She doesn't care about the kid getting hit over the head. She cares about getting that sniff that some people are alleging, something like that. That's why this was hushed up or protected. That's what she wants. Probably open congressional hearings on that. All right, side question. This came up yesterday, and it worked perfectly toward the end of the show, and even more today. You're seeing these encampments, hundreds of them decamped yesterday and into today. Can you imagine being this president of Colombia? How little self-respect you have to let someone take over your major building? I believe in everything is personal. It's not business. You know what I mean? I may say that, I understand it's just business, Dan. But deep down, I think stuff is personal. It ought to be personal. It ought to be personal on her, not on my campus. Let's go and get him. Get him out of there. Oh, you can't do that. Somebody might get hurt. Well, yeah, that might happen. Expel them on the spot. What's your name? Give me your tag. You're expelled. Get out of here. All right. So side question today. Hit us with a song you'd like to hear played as the encampers are decamped. We had a lot of great ones yesterday. Dan,
Nice
what's your? You like this? Yeah.
Well, yeah, kung fu fighting.
Kung fu fighting because of the janitors.
Imagine a montage. The janitors are one takes one of a broomstick and turns it into a kendo stick. You got another one taking a wrench, and then they all do back to back. You hear this song pop on. It's just a montage of purple-haired individuals coming from their left, their right. Body slam over their head.
Oh my God.
Yes, I'm going to take Carl Douglas's Kung Fu Fighting off the board.
All right, that is a great one. That's what we're looking for. What did Gary say? Do you remember that yesterday? We said we'd write it down. We know
yes, he had. Let me get it going.
Gary in Newtown yesterday.
Steam's great. Well, I didn't get the chorus there. No. Hey, kissing goodbye.
Yeah, that is a definite contender. All right, what song would you like to see played in, particularly as the janitors drive them out of the hall? All right, 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you have to do is push pound 1210. We'll get you in here. By the way, Republicans, I don't know whether to commend them or show how silly they are. They have such a slim majority. They're telling their fellow colleagues from the leadership, Dan, in the House, stop going skydiving. Don't go on a fact-finding mission to Haiti. Things like that. They're telling them, you can't die because the whole world will end if we don't have the majority. Why don't they copy the Democrats in Harrisburg? They don't tell their people don't do anything. They just say the roof's got a leak. We're not meeting until we get the majority. That's the way to go, right? Just call the Speaker of the House here. They know what to do. 855-839-1210. You get in on Talk Radio 1210.
I'm the guy that never gives 5 stars because I never believe that anything is perfect. But I would give them 20 stars if I could.
Ernest Stellar Review belongs to QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative treatments. They came through when he badly needed relief for his aching knees, and doctors had told him that surgery was the only option.
What they're doing is cutting edge, and it really helps. And I'm a tough sell.
QC Kinetics is led by National Medical Director Dr. Mitchell Scheinkupp, a pioneer in this field. With 20 years of clinical work, tons of research, teaching, publishing in non-surgical natural pain treatments. These are the medical pros to trust.
I'm living my life basically pain-free from what I was dealing with. So I'm a happy camper today, no doubt about it.
QC Kinetics. Call today to see if you're a candidate.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
Although you try not to, most of us have used an ATM out of network. And at the end, you get that notice that it's going to cost you $4 extra.
Are you kidding me?
So you're paying money to get your own money. It makes you crazy. In retirement, you're going to want to use that 401k, but every time you dip into it, you have to pay taxes. Here we go again. You have to pay money to get your own money.
Oh, come on!
Jim Cipriotti and the Retire Ready Financial Group believes that every retirement plan needs a tax plan. Without it, you're using Uncle Sam's plan. And do you really think that's going to work in your favor? Call Retire Ready Financial Group today at 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415 and schedule a complimentary retirement consultation. Or you can find them online at retirereadyfg.com. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
For over a decade, NJ Diet has helped thousands of people lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. NJ Diet uses your hair and saliva along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements to get you to shed that fat quickly. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. Call 855-5NJ-DIET or go to NJDiet.com. Get slimmer before the summer with NJDiet.com.
Yo, Roy is Ford. What? We know your favorite station is 1210 WPHT.
All right, Tom Giordano's show. You can't beat Fox News and the New York Post, Dan. Both have a picture of one of the janitors, maintenance facilities manager, with a Yankees hat on, being held hostage. Oh, I got the time wrong here. My fault. It was moved up. Okay. We talked a lot about what's going on over in the North Penn School District. And last night they had their Safe School Zoom meeting, which was as bureaucratic as anything that I've ever seen.
On
But
Zoom?
yeah, that's right. There were two big points there about timelines. And we had one of the parents who led the protest last week of what's going on over at North Penn around this student hitting over the head, even though the student seemed to be with a guard because of previous issues. And one student reported they knew there was a hit list, and he hits this little girl over the head with a Stanley Cup. Joining us is Stephanie Powofkak, who is one of the leaders, along with another, of that protest last week. Stephanie, welcome back to the show. Thanks for joining us. What's your biggest takeaway from watching this last night? And I guess prior to that, my God, this couldn't have been held in person versus over Zoom.
Well, hi, Dom. Thanks for having me back. I really appreciate you. Yeah, first of all, I totally agree. Now, this meeting was scheduled months out before this incident took place. However, given the circumstances, I think it could have been moved in person. Absolutely, 100%. They are having another board meeting on 5/14, I believe it is, and that will be held in person at the high school. It's a bigger facility because they expect a bigger parental turnout. So, and that'll be like an open forum for parents to speak again, like it was the last time.
Well, Stephanie, one of the things I jotted down, in addition to just the bureaucratic stuff and it was like a bullet point thing and third party investigation. How much does that cost? Was a couple of the timelines things. They said it was the superintendent. It was about only 6 seconds, his words, it took for the one kid who was being watched to bash the other kid over the head with a Stanley Cup. Give me your sense of that, though. If you have someone that is intensely watching you there, wouldn't they be keeping that kid away from the other kids? It makes no sense.
So I had a meeting last week with the superintendent, and I'm keep trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. You know, that's how I am. However, during our meeting, he stated that the child was being watched and was in the office. I guess under in-school suspension, or I don't know if it was technically an in-school suspension, but due to the threats that were being made and the parents' complaints and the students' complaints, they were keeping the child in the office. However, at the 7th grade lunchtime, the student asked, "Can I get lunch?" And the climate coordinator, the aide that was in charge of watching the child, asked the principal, Dr. Taylor, Principal Pembroke, "This child wants lunch. Can they get lunch?" Now, bells would go off in my head, considering I had complaints that morning, 4 hours prior, from students that there was talks of this child doing something at lunchtime. Bells would have went off in my head. I mean, I think any normal brain's head. The principal said, "Yeah, take them to get lunch." What the principal should have said was, "Yes, the child can get lunch. Every child's entitled to lunch." I agree with that 100%. But you could have brought lunch to them in the office. Instead, one aide, the climate coordinator, escorts the child into the lunchroom. More knowledge I gathered was the child was freely walking in the lunchroom with the coordinator next to them. You know, even stopped at my daughter's table and asked, "Hey, I'm looking for so-and-so," one of their friends, and they're like, "We don't know where they're at. They're sitting," you know? So they were freely walking around, got to sit and eat in the lunchroom, and they should have been in the office.
Or the back of the lunchroom with the person seat. Yeah, I mean, my God.
They shouldn't have been allowed in the lunchroom. I don't care.
That's true.
They shouldn't have been allowed in school, periodly, let alone to leave. If they were insistent on keeping the child in school, they should have kept the child in the office the way they were during classes. You had word from students that morning, 4 hours prior, as you heard during the first school board meeting, the little girl speaks on, that she reported it 4 hours prior, that she heard that something was going to happen at lunch. So you should have not have let the child in lunch. Every child deserves a lunch, I agree, but you could have brought the child lunch to the office where the child is being held.
Yeah, the other timeline, they went back. Originally, they said it was 8 minutes that they were held, meaning that class on hold in the cafeteria. Here, it turns out, at least as far as I can trail this stuff, Stephanie, that it was much more than 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And no one can explain why they couldn't lead those kids out of the cafeteria. Well, I suppose this had been a real emergency. You don't need a rule book to know what to do. You're the authority figures. You lead them out of the cafeteria.
That's another issue that I've come to light with last night. More information that was revealed last night. They're giving us a little bit of information at a time. Like he gave me the little bit of information of the principal signing off on the child going to the lunchroom last week. Now, last night, he states that there was a discrepancy in the time of the hold because it was supposedly an 8-minute hold put on the whole school, which means nobody leaves whatever room they're in. They continue working, but they are not to leave that room until it is up. However, they said the hold only lasted 8 minutes when our children who were in the cafeteria, the 7th graders, like my daughter, said the hold was way longer than 8 minutes. We were stuck in there. We had to watch them clean up her blood. Like, it was a really long time. It was at least 30 minutes, 28 minutes, something like that. Kids have phones. They have watches. They know how long they were in there. So that was a discrepancy. And he stated in his meeting last night that he went over the video footage and walkie-talkie transmissions, and that there was a miscommunication. The lift was holded within 8 minutes. However, the children in the 7th grade cafeteria, they could not hear the teachers and aides and whoever were in there could not hear that the lift on the hold was lifted. So that's why the students weren't moved. And when I got my chance to speak last night, I said, okay, so the principal is the one who lifts the hold. He lifted the hold. We know he was right in the cafeteria. He was outside the cafeteria with the victim. They should have been the first priority to be moved. They should have been moved immediately following that attack, moved them to the gymnasium, had teachers come out there to, talk to them. If they wanted to call their parents to go home, they should have been given that opportunity. They did not handle that situation well. Why and how you forget to remove the 7th graders from the crime scene? Let's call it a crime scene because it was a crime.
Well, it is a crime. Yeah.
Why would you keep the children in there is beyond me. You say that they couldn't hear. That's the answer we got. The communication wasn't able to be heard in the cafeteria. Well, I don't think the communication should have been the first line of getting those children out of there. It should have been before the hold was even lifted. Let's get these kids out of here. Let's not let them sit here and watch us kick the girl out bleeding. And let's not let them sit here and watch us wipe the table down of blood and then mop the floor up with blood as they're sitting here already traumatized from watching the attack, scared, and, wanting their parents. They're already traumatized from that. Now you're going to further traumatize them more by making them sit there and see all this blood and the cleanup and everything else. They should have been moved immediately.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Now,
I agree that the principal had, a lot going on with tending to the victim and making sure that the attacker was subdued and, tucked away wherever they tucked the child away at. But you have however many other kids that needed your attention as well. And you have a lot of staff, and it could have been handled a lot better.
Stephanie, I'm not sure if you're on to this part too of there seems to be at least an allegation by a guy named Altieri who wrote a piece for the North Penn publication about meeting with people like Madeline Dean and others. And he feels that there's some kind of partisan stuff going on here. Are you aware of any of that?
I didn't hear of that article, but it wouldn't surprise me. And nothing's surprising me at this point. I did not hear of that though, but again, it wouldn't surprise me.
How about sending your daughter back to school and others? It's been a little while now. Are kids back to school, or are they still being kept out?
I know a couple of the kids who were on this child's hit list are very traumatized and have not been able to return to school because they're traumatized. Like, wow, that could have been me. Speaking for my daughter was able to return to school. You know, my daughter was very upset and very traumatized and, you know, scared to leave the house for a few days and things like that. But she is pretty resilient and she's a fighter like me. And, you know, she had a meeting with the superintendent herself. She wanted to meet with him and she met with him on Friday and spoke her mind to him and told her like how she feels they let her down and all her friends and all the students of the school down. And he asked her to be on the state school committee because she has so much to offer.
That's all good. Well, I thank you again, Stephanie. Please just let Dan know if there's any development at any point. I know there's an investigation, all that, but any thoughts that you have,
taxpayers paying for their grow ups.
I know. We'd love to have you back as anything develops, however long this goes on. We appreciate it very much. How you're a model of wanting information, but I got to say, doing it in a manner that's going to get results rather than just being angry about stuff. It's a perfect blend that you're putting forward.
I'm very, very, very angry, and I want answers and I want accountability. You know, what example are we setting for our children? You know, like the people who fail these students need to step down, get fired, whatever. And maybe, just maybe, the new people they hire will say, hey, maybe we can do things differently so we don't end up getting fired. Something needs to be done. Like,
absolutely,
something needs to be done, you know? And again, how do we even know that this third party investigation isn't going to be biased to North Penn?
Well, that's right. We look at the people hiring them. It makes you wonder, why would they choose them? That's right.
You know, like, I don't even trust the investigation, to be honest. And we're not going to get results until the end of the school year, which is another thing that has us completely outraged and appalled. So
that's the first sign when they take forever to get to the bottom of what is obvious, Stephanie, based upon all reports. They know what happened. Now, what is the result? What are they going to do? To your point, don't need an investigator. They have either footage, walkie-talkie, all the stuff that you talked about. Bring the people in, let them make a statement within a week, maybe a couple days. You should have an answer. Stephanie, thank you. Please come back.
All right. Thank you, Don. Thank you.
You're welcome. Stephanie Pawlikak here on Talk Radio 1210. David has a clip of this Dr. Bauer apparently talking of the meeting with the Dean of Decency. We'll play that next. Get into on this takeover of this building. And I'm looking at a picture of the janitor. It's a guy, they're trying to plead with him after they surround him, Dan, in the picture I see. And he's got a Yankees hat on. Shame it wasn't an Eagles thing or something. We know what would happen. You think the Philadelphia Public School janitor is going to be held hostage by one of these pink-haired lunatics? I think there'd be big trouble there. Call up his other janitor pals.
I'm already casting the movie, man.
Oh, yeah. Who's playing the janitor?
Well, we got Jackie Chan who's coming back for a new role.
All right.
Maybe we'll reunite with Chris Tucker. You know, you got Jackie Chan as one, the older janitor. Then you got Chris Tucker there, who's and then we need a third one, though, right? So who's the third?
I'm just wondering who would play the college president. Who is weaselly enough, just spineless? The vice.
John Turturro.
Maybe the vice principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off might be.
That's a good one. Yeah.
But that guy splits his pants with the dog and the whole thing at the end. All right, 855-839-1210. We're coming to you on everything. And Madeline Dean in the middle of this. Can you imagine going to a royal deanness on anything? You know what, Dan? That's what I think she's sniffing here. She wants to be involved. She's not going to let these parents push around if there's a transgender issue they're alleging here, anything like that. Madeline Dean will stop that. 855-839, and hit us with that tune that should be played as they're pulled out. What's the over and under and how long they let these loons occupy that building, Dan. I would put it I would put it at least to the end of next week.
You think that long?
Well,
no way. They got to get him out of there like ASAP.
Look at Penn. You will move. The stuffed shirt now seeming president of Penn told him on Friday night, Dan, it's over. Where are we now?
How long did it take Columbia to lose that reputation of being the protest school? And
yeah, Mark Rudd.
Like, you really think they're going to do this to themselves again? I guess.
I think it was in the Batman film with what was the guy that had the breathing apparatus?
Yeah, that was Bane.
Bane. Yeah, Bane. They were doing that at Columbia, like they were holding their own kangaroo court there and telling you what they were going to do to you. That's how bad they were. And they didn't know what to do because the people that ran it were all these waspy types of presidents. Well, surely you can see reason. They don't see any reason. They're telling you they're a mob. They know one thing. They have to be put down. They think they can't be put down. They're arguing if you put them down, it will just draw more there. My response is always, well, then we're going to bring more. Yeah, well, so will we. Well, let's see what happens here. Almost everything in life, in situations like this particularly, it's not about policy. You know what it's about? Will. Who has a stronger will? Who's willing to do what needs to be done here? They think they have the stronger will, and guess what? They're right versus these college presidents. 855-839-1210. That's how you get in on Talk Radio 1210.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-254-4574. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-254-4574 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-254-4574 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-254-4574.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Legacy Box is offering a 60% discount. Order yours today and take advantage of our best Mother's Day sale ever. Visit legacybox.com/value and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value for 60% off. legacybox.com/value.
This is Jordan Lundy. And this is Len Lundy. Lundy Law has won billions for our clients.
But more importantly, we've won the trust and confidence of thousands of people injured in motor vehicle crashes, slip and fall accidents, and work-related injuries.
My son and I hope we never meet you because of an accident. But if we do, we're here for you.
Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com for a free consultation.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Hey, it's Joe DeCamera here. Baseball season, it is back. From driving your kids to practice to driving to the ballpark, make sure you are taking care of your car. Schedule an appointment at United Tire. From new tires to oil changes to state inspections and everything in between, the highly skilled technicians at United Tire, they're happy to work around your schedule to do whatever work your car needs, no matter the make or model. Let United Tire help you get in gear for the spring season. Take your car to your locally owned United Tire or visit UnitedTire.com. Don't drive alone. Drive United.
Oh, yeah. All you griddle gurus best get your game faces on because it's gorilla season at Gerhardt's. And that means all systems go for great deals on the latest grills that'll sizzle your grizzle off. Whether you're a tong man or spatula lady, Gerhardt's Appliances has all the propane-powered patio powerhouses to turn that frozen filet mignon into a fire-grilled filet mignon.
Weather sponsored by the Piazza Auto Group.
It will be another July-like day today with partly sunny skies, high temperature well above average at 86. For tonight, partly to mostly cloudy with a shower storm possible in spots, low 62. And for Wednesday, cooler, becoming partly sunny, high 76.
Get 0% financing for 60 months or a $2,000 customer bonus on the new 2024 Volkswagen Tiguan. Only during the 75th anniversary sales event. Visit Piazza Volkswagen of Ardmore and Langhorne or piazzavw.com today.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Dan's a magic man. He's not even calling anyone to book him, and he's mind melding, and bang, one of our listeners calls into the Dom Show. A little follow-up to this North Penn thing. Vince Altieri wrote this piece at North Penn Now, NP Now. His letter to the editor, I guess. It's time to take another step on the moon. North Penn School District. What the heck? And he seems to be the one, Dan, who has some stuff in here about people like Madeline Dean. Let's bring in Vincent Altieri here on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Vince, are you a listener? Is that why you called us?
Yeah, Dom, I'm a listener. My wife, 30-year school teacher, is an avid listener of you folks on her way home from work and to work. And so, yes, I'm involved with your show. I've been on Rich's show. I ran for school board. This past November, was defeated by a bunch of politicians. And when you had mentioned Madeline Dean, I'll be straight with you. I don't know who that Madeline Dean was a year ago. And I don't really care because I care about my child's education. I mentioned on the show earlier today, my child is going to have a productive outcome at North Penn School District because she's going to put the work in. However, when we talk about, I believe in follow the money. And when you have contractors that North Penn School District has hired to do high school renovations, which is another big topic in the area, and they're donating to this political monopoly, that stinks. When you have teachers unions that are donating to a political monopoly, that stinks. I mean, at the last election, for crying out loud, a 17-year school teacher by the name of Mike Kennedy ran for school board, went for the teachers union endorsement because he had the wrong letter in front of his name. They didn't even endorse him. So this whole system with public education is upside down. And I want to talk about solutions. There's local people that the community trusts. A law enforcement officer by the name of Pat Hanrahan, put him in charge. Let him have input about security in North Penn School District and get outside of their comfort zone and hiring people that they're getting donations from.
Yeah, that's well put. I love the line. Why did you put it's time to take another step on the moon, though? That's what jumps out, Vince.
Well, yeah, to step on the moon, we got to get outside of the comfort zone. They've been in control. The North Penn School District political monopolies are controlled for almost 10 years. They've had 4 dissenting votes in that time. I jokingly say I can't get along. I have more than 4 dissenting votes with my wife before we get up in the morning. They agree on everything. So take a step on the moon. Step outside of your comfort zone instead of this word salad of bureaucracy that this Jonathan Casa puts out there. Which, it does come back to the tragedy of the young lady that you spoke to, and it shouldn't have to. And that's what I put in my article. We shouldn't have tragedies to bring to light what the heck is going on. But
and Vince, I love what you said about the police officer or the law enforcement there, because that Zoom meet, first of all, how in the world would something that's making national news do you do a Zoom meeting? And then 2, all you do is go through bullet points of page 23 and page 24. Versus that kid should not have been near other kids, even if they were in the cafeteria.
The solicitor kicks off the meeting about how they have to be careful about what they comment about. And then they go ahead and they talk about timelines. Come on, give me a break. I've been to probably 30 to 40 school board meetings before I gave up trying to talk to these people because they don't listen. They listen with their mouths. They ridicule people. I listen to the meeting still. I'm not going to talk because I'm not going to be embarrassed, continue to be disrespected by them. There's no trust in North Penn School District, and they have an opportunity. We've extended plenty of olive branches. Put some people in charge that have ideas, solutions.
Yeah, I hear you. But let me play you for a second, Vince Altieri with us. Dr. Todd Bauer on the meeting with Madeline Dean. Then we'd love to get your reaction. Here's what he said.
And I really want to mention Congresswoman Dean. She was in a remote location on national security business. I wasn't allowed to know where she was or which time zone, but she did reach out and we met at a time, and she gave me all the time that I needed. So it really was helpful to hear from them and to hear that they plan to continue to lobby and advocate for changes in public education and ways in which our legislators can support districts like North Penn, and of course, not just North Penn. And lastly, I did mention that we are planning to have a community forum on May 14th. Those who have attended forums in the past can kind of assume what the format would be.
All right, Vince, tough question here because we heard this originally, and you can probably tell me better than anybody. In your estimation, is there something more here than just this violence? In other words, this kid transferred from one school to another. Kind of strange how this goes on when there's a clear pattern here. Is there anything else that parents are seeing happen here?
Well, you know, there's talk in the community, and you know, the mayor of Lansdale, another example to your point, that gets involved with school board, shows up to meetings and speaks about hirings at North Penn School District. Yet when community members want to talk to him, he then says, "I don't want to be involved with school board." So there's, you know, I put in my article something about the flags, and you know, it's. We spend way too much time talking about what other flags need to be displayed during public, you know, at a school. When let's just put the U.S. flag up there, and I touched on that in my article. And that's not to be disrespectful towards any other community member. And these are all distractions. These are all, as far as I'm concerned, this is what divides communities. And that's.
Yeah, Vince, can I ask what you do for, maybe I don't want to know what you do for a living. I'm just, as a communicator, I can't get damn past this thing. It's time to take another step on the moon. I'm thinking when I saw this morning, where did this guy come from? How beautiful this is. It just grabs you right out of the box. And of course, mentioning Madeline Dean, I only had her on once about potholes. It didn't end pretty well. So Vince.
Decency.
Yeah, I like what you're saying, though, about solutions. That ought to be the tenor of the May 14th. And if they're not open to that, then I don't know, to your point, when they would be after this situation.
Agreed. I appreciate you having me on and giving this the attention that it deserves, because at the end of the day, as I said, I'll say it again. It's not about my child. It's not about the children that are going to have positive outcomes. It's wrong. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And what's going on is wrong, and we need to fix it.
Absolutely. Vince, thanks for listening. Your wife, too. Thank you very much. Anytime. You're welcome back.
Thank you.
All right. Vince Altieri here. Dan, I can't tell with all the stuff we heard in the beginning with the transgendered stuff. It's maddening to think that this kid could have been taken into lunch when obviously there were issues, rather than just bringing him lunch. Don't get it. Not a good situation. And then when Madeline Dean, and you know what it reminded me of her? Oh, we can't tell you what's she on national security? Where was she recently? I'm trying to remember where she went. I think she went to Afghanistan or something like that. It's like saying Dr. Jill Biden. Get over yourself, Madeline Dean. Come on. 855-839-1210. I can't tell you. I'm in a bunker here in Gaza. Doubtful. And I wonder if she'll be there at the May 14th meeting. Might have to attend that one. Seems like there's a lot of interest in this. All right. We've had a lot of people want to get in a few calls. Eamon Brown will be with us at 1 o'clock from Harrisburg. He won yesterday, at least Everybody seems to say that, but you never know in Philadelphia. Why would they spend $700,000, the Working Families Party, he tells me, to try to defeat him? A state reps race? Where's that money coming from? We'll get to all of it. Hey, if you're dealing with inflammation or stiff joints, then Glyco Plus from Rescue Natural Supplements can be your ticket to a healthier spring. Glyco Plus features a unique blend of green lip muscle complex and UC2 collagen specifically designed to support joint health. Collagen, a vital component of joint cartilage, plays a crucial role in maintaining strength and flexibility. And right now, Rescue Glyco Plus is buy one, get one free for anyone with our exclusive radio code. Just use the code RELIEF to double up your order for free. Again, that's RELIEF. Call them today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable rescue product consultant. You can also use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Get back into action with less pain, more comfort. Again, use the code RELIEF. Buy one, get one free on Rescue Glyco Plus.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You know, this is the absolute worst time of year to be dealing with joint pain. The weather is breaking. Everybody's getting out today, whether it's golfing, going out, jogging, working out. And that joint pain is keeping you from doing everything you love to do. Am I right here? If you're tired of those achy joints, I want you to call my friends at QC Kinetics before you ever agree to things like surgery or steroids or medications. Patrick loves to golf like our own Nick Cale, although Patrick definitely wears his sunscreen. Patrick couldn't even walk because of that horrible knee pain. But after his QC Kinetics regenerative treatments for his knees, Patrick is back and has the best handicap he's seen in 15 years. How does that sound? I'd love to be talking about your story next, where you were able to get lasting relief, no downtime. Don't wait to call QC Kinetics 215-999-3000. Get that free consultation, 215-999-3000. Make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Talk Radio 1210. WPHT. Free speech lives here.
All right, Don Giordano show coming to your calls. Then we'll talk with Eamon Brown. Let's go to Jim hanging in Ridley Park. Jim, good afternoon. Go right ahead.
Yes, first time caller.
Thank you, Jim.
I was just, how are you? So I am a Penn graduate. I do have an Ivy League. As far as me, I am really disappointed what's going on there. It makes no sense to me. I would love somebody just bringing the big screen TV on the Penn campus right across from where these guys are camping and showing them what happened on October 7th. I don't understand why. And then, organize something, some sort of a gathering outside the site. There should be something here that just counteracts this nonsense, this
Jim,
terrible thing that's going on.
Sandberg, one of the chief people over at Facebook, has a documentary out that is streamed, but it's also going to be in theaters. But I don't think the Penn administrators would have the guts to show it there. They would not show, as I remember it. Now, maybe they ultimately did, but initially, the film that the one of the big Jewish groups in town put together that I was invited to at a theater out there at Penn, because the evidence is just overwhelming. And the bottom line is they were using barbarous tactics, rape, mutilation, baking babies as an act of war. And if I hear one more of those creeps talk about soiling people and people showing them flying in over the hang gliders, Jim, it is obvious it happened. They watch TikTok and they're in their own little bubble, though. You won't penetrate it. All you can do is stop them from what they're doing.
So you're saying that we can't protest against the protesters?
Oh, no, you can. But what I mean is, absolutely, Jim, you're not going to win them over or shame them or get them to admit to anything. They are completely in that bubble and ignorant of any of it. You will not convince any numbers. But I agree with your idea, without a doubt.
No, what really ticks me off is it's embedded in my I'm in my 60s, but it's embedded in my brain on 9/11 when I was driving to work what happened, and then they pulled this thing off of all the media. I don't know if it was government or everything, but
the French,
that there was protests.
Yeah,
that was cheering the fact that they took down. I don't even see that anymore. I don't see any of this stuff.
You're right. Thank you, Jim. I got it wrong, but thank you. And I just want to say, a guy like Jim is not a bloviator like me, Dan. You can honestly hear he doesn't understand it. The only way I can explain it is I'm long past trying to understand the motivation. I see evil, and that's what this is. And I figure out, how do you confront it? How do you beat it? How do you stop it? Figuring out the motivation of this ignorance is almost impossible. And it's fun for them. You got to understand it. And I have some stats on TikToks for 4 to 7 year olds today, Dan, and then up the amount of time, what they're watching, that are unbelievable. All right. Our buddy, Eamon Brown, state representative, won yesterday, I believe, by about 40, 45 votes in Philadelphia. They spent $700,000, just one group. And they're socialists. Where are they getting $700,000 from? He's got a lot to tell. He was pretty fired up on Sunday when I talked with him, when victory was in sight. He is next from Harrisburg on Talk Radio 1210.
Are you still holding on to that winter weight? Time to shed that fat and get ready for the warmer weather of spring with NJ Diet. For over a decade, they've helped thousands of people lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. That's nearly twice as fast as weight loss injections and without any of those nasty side effects. NJ Diet uses your hair and saliva along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements to get you to shed that fat quickly. Then NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help you keep the weight off. You are fully supervised the entire time to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. And you even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. Locations in King of Prussia, Cherry Hill, and Newark, Delaware, or available from home with live online consultations. Call 855-5NJ-DIET, 855-5NJ-DIET, or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. Get slimmer before this summer with njdiet.com.
Hello, saver. Whether you're saving for that trip to the tropics or saving for an emergency, now is the time to take advantage of Wells Fargo's savings options. Wells Fargo offers savings accounts that can help you save towards your goals. So, what are you saving for? Visit a Wells Fargo branch or wellsfargo.com/save to open a savings account today.
Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Are you tired of dealing with those old, inefficient windows in your house? Well, maybe it's time to go Guida. How about that drafty, beat-up-looking entry door you've painted over more times than you can count? Well, go Guida. Need added protection from the elements with a new storm door? Go Guida. And what about that sliding patio door or garage door you've been meaning to replace? Go Guida. Whatever your home improvement needs are, I suggest you go Guida with the great people at Guida Door and Window. To help you get your project started, Guida is offering 20% off all windows and doors while allowing you to start your project with no money down and up to 3 full years to pay it off interest-free. That's right. Receive 20% instant savings with the luxury of paying off your project interest-free for up to 36 months. Restrictions apply, offers for a limited time, so what are you waiting for? It's time you finally go Guida. Call today to schedule a free in-home estimate at 1-877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, Guida.com.
Hey, Philly. Jason Kelsey here. Even though I won't be playing on Sundays anymore, you can still find me at Lincoln Financial Field on Saturday, May 18th for the Eagles Autism Challenge presented by Lincoln Financial Group. This event raises millions of dollars to support autism research and care and gives you the chance to walk, run, or ride your bike beside your favorite Eagles players. Together, we can transform the lives of individuals affected by autism. Register today at eaglesautismchallenge.org, and I'll see you there.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's downtime. Now, Dom Giordano.
Yeah, I know he was called to Harrisburg. Dan, did I get out of ordering the pizza, or does that have to be a month from now?
I still want a pizza, man.
Can you get a pizza for under $20?
Yeah, well,
in Center City?
I don't know, in Center City.
Domino's,
Domino's, maybe. Pizza Hut?
No, that would be even worse. No way are we doing that. Well, we'll get him in studio, but he had to be called to Harrisburg. Eamon Brown is the state representative, mainly from West Philly. But, you know, the Inquirer, Dan, doesn't even like it that Logan Square, that area, I think, was added to his district, and they voted for him. It's like, oh, my God, there's something crazy going on here. And he defeated all comers, including one who was backed by the Working Families Party, who are social, really communist. Let's face it, they are. But somehow or another, they spent $700,000 in a state rep race. I bet in every other state rep race in the Philadelphia area, the total didn't even approach anywhere near that. You know, some of them nobody runs, and the others, I mean,
700,000.
700, just the one entity.
And what were they buying?
Yeah, why? Why is this guy such a threat that they just can't take it? All right, let's go to Representative Brown here on Talk Radio 1210. Welcome in. Nice win.
Hey, good afternoon. What's up, y'all?
Well, $700,000, that's about normal in a state reps race, right?
No, man. They outraised us and outspent us, but the people spoke. We won. We knew it was going to be close. They ran a nasty campaign with the negative ads and the lies and the misleading information. It was a hell of
what happened there, Dan?
Morgan family parties must have cut him off.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. All right. Hey, we're going to have to call you Landslide Brown due to these victory totals. I'd rather you win by only one vote, just to spite the Philadelphia Inquirer. So,
listen, man.
700,000.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money, man. And it's still counting, because you got to think about the independent expenditures, the reporting, the 24-hour reporting. Like, they had what I experienced on election day was like no other. They had a minimum of 15 people working each polling place.
Wow.
Just spitting out lies about, the party endorsed candidate, which was me. They were telling people I'm supported by Donald Trump, I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, well, hold on now. where's where's the fact check? Where can we fact check this information? But just the racism that I experienced from these socialists, DSA was out there, the communists was out there, all of them, and they stand behind this black woman candidate and dig at me, in her name, so I did experience racism that day. All the people working with me and for me experienced it. And the people need to know, man, that, this was a strong victory for the Democratic Party. We pulled through. It was our job to keep the seat blue and not turn it what they would have turned it black. You know how they get down with their black earrings and all, black nail polish and all that stuff.
So were the communist people though? Were these white people coming in there to West Philly?
Yeah, it was all white people coming to West Philly, telling us what's best for us. But they had them all over the district, even in Logan Square. But we held our ground. We did as much as we could, and we held on to it, man. It was a battle. It was like no other. And we had, like in 2022, we lost the Center City portion, the Logan Square portion. We lost that by 800 votes. We lost it by 100 votes this time. We closed the gap.
And what was the issue? They know first of all, you're inside the Democrat Party, and yet you are the most vocal, and rightfully so. And Sherelle Parker was elected on this, and she's a major Democrat. Are we seeing a bit of a sea change? And you know this as much as I do. Larry Krasner is the hardest of all these progressive attorneys. He's no fool when it comes to internal politics, but he's beatable the next time around.
Oh yeah, he's definitely beatable. Larry supported my opponent.
Right.
All the Working Families Party candidates supported her, from senators, state reps, city council people. So she had a strong machine behind her, and they failed. And again, that's why this is a big win for us. It's a big win for the Democrats. It's a big win for the moderates. Because they want this seat so bad that they tried to move every mountain they could to get it, and we prevailed. And we stayed focused. We stayed on the issues. They didn't want to talk about policy. They just wanted to talk negative about this young black man who overcame everything that they said that they're trying to fix in certain communities, right? And it baffled me that they were out here calling me a criminal, a convicted felon. I am not a criminal. I am not a convicted felon. But then they're the party of second chances, right? So they want to give murderers. They rather give a murderer a second chance than a person with no criminal record and no criminal convictions. Where's my second chance? You know what I'm saying?
Well, a guy who came from nowhere, who was shot, a guy who, the Democrat Party. Your side. I told you this. Yeah, you know it better than anybody. And Dan has a question too in a second. That you're a threat because you're not an outlier. I mean, you're a moderate Democrat, and yet you are not just a big mouth on the police. You actually go out of your way every time that I look up with the cops in your neighborhood or wherever they are, to try to do something nice for them, to try to support them. And then the issue that they don't seem to understand, the school choice issue, to free more people from what are bad circumstances in the public schools many times, to give them an actual choice. They're a mob. And the idea is a strategy to have these idiot white guys coming into West Philly. I mean, I live in Germantown, as you know. I'm not going into West Philly talking down a black guy who's the candidate. Are you insane? I mean, what in the world?
Listen, it was their negatives backfired. Like while we were knocking doors, I had voters tell me like, "Hey, look, I'm voting for you, but even if I wasn't, the way the people were just at my door talking about you, it would make me vote for you if I wasn't going to vote for you." And it's like you had people from, like, even on election day, there was this one girl I was talking to her, and she was like, "Oh yeah," she was volunteering on the Cash Green campaign, and she said she got flown in. She flew in, to come work. Like they had people coming from all over. I can't even remember what state she was from, but like she took a plane here to work on election day. So this is the kind of funds, and they couldn't get the bodies from the district. Like our people were actual residents and constituents from the district. They had all outside people trying to come in and take something from us, and it didn't work. So
Yeah, and
we
that
sent the message.
that is the bigger picture. It's you because you're an independent guy, but the bigger picture is the money they have coming into a black community and trying to overturn this for somebody who's a big fan of Krasner and what's going on here in Philadelphia, the progressive that lost, and a state reps race. My God, it's stunning.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
us.
look at this, right? Look at Krasner. He doesn't participate in no other elections, only on mine. He don't support candidates when we had all those black women running statewide for judge. Did he step out there and say, "Oh, I support this person," or I'm endorsing, or did he reach into his resources and help any of those black statewide candidates get elected? No, he didn't. But when you got a young black man on the ballot from West Philadelphia, he steps up every time to do as much as he can to tear me down. Right? Not to mention how sealed documents got leaked from his office that pertain to issues I had in the past or my arrest that should have been cleared. I mean, that were cleared and sealed. So Krasner, I know he's sitting at home and hopefully he's listening. You lost. Stay out of West Philly. Stay out of my district. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like,
stay out
he
of
was on
Germantown
every
too,
mail.
for that matter. I don't want him in Germantown either. There you go.
I don't want him in Philadelphia.
That's what we're working toward.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are working toward that.
Dan had a question. Dan had a question for you. Dan, go right ahead.
The dynamic of West Philly really, it's very interesting to me because I think a lot stems from a very infamous Facebook group called West Willie, which really is a bunch of progressives. And Dom, that's kind of where the Philadelphia-wide, the citywide push to unionize, coffee shops came from, was West Willie, this very socialist kind of ideological group. And there's been it's weird because you have these socialists in West Willie, in West Philadelphia, who are gentrifying the neighborhood while speaking out against gentrification and a lot of times pricing the black community out and trying to enforce these weird, very hyper progressive policies on the black community. And Eamon, I'm just curious, you are very obviously plugged in with that black community. Why has these progressive policies not taken hold in this community as these activists have hoped that it has?
Man, so like to your point, right? They're against gentrification, but when you ask them where they live, they got a roof deck. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa.
Line of the day. Line of the day.
You got, like what are you talking about here? And then they come to community meetings and they want to stop more development when they're benefactors of it, right? They come to the RCO meetings and say, "Oh, we don't want this project. It's going to take parking." Okay, but what you live in was a vacant lot. People were dumping illegally on it, and we want development in West Philly. We don't want to not have development in West Philly, because what does development do? It creates tax revenue for the education system that they all say we need more funding for. If we build on the vacant land, we can generate real estate taxes that fund our schools.
Mm-hmm.
But when you sit down with them and have that conversation, they say, "Oh, no, the state needs to fund more." The state, no, we do our job every single year since I've been elected, and way before I was elected. There's always been historic amounts of investment into Philadelphia School District, right? Every single year, we post and we promote, "Oh, historic amounts. We passed this, we passed that," but we don't see the physical change that our communities want and need. So then when I step up and say, until we can fix everything that we agree on needs to be fixed, let's give these families options. We should not force these children to go to these schools in these zip codes where we know have historically failed our families. And when they talk about school to prison pipeline, it starts in those zip codes that the money is not being spent that we send every single year. So like this fight with the school board and all of that, I was happy to see some of the changes. Was praying for a little bit more, but that ain't happened. So I'm looking forward to see what other changes the administration make. But we have to give these families the choice. We give families the choice to choose whatever doctor you wanted to send your kid to, whatever daycare or whatever. But when it comes to the very important elementary school education, we say nope. You live in this zip code, you got to stay in this school. The school with box fans in the windows, the schools with asbestos, the schools with no books. But when we try to level the playing field, the PFT want to get upset.
Absolutely.
Because all the teachers that teach in these schools, 72% of the teachers that teach in this Philadelphia school district don't live in Philadelphia. They live in surrounding counties. So they don't care. They don't care about our children like they say they do.
Well, we are.
So when you have me,
we are. Go ahead. We are thrilled with this, though, and really, I know you were called to Harrisburg, but Dan will talk with you whenever you're free in the near future. We want to get you in studio and really
promised
celebrate
a pizza party.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, for me to be spending, it's not station money. It's just
what
my
toppings
own,
are we getting, Rep?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, look, man. Thank y'all, man. I look forward to seeing y'all in person.
Okay, we'll do, Eamon. Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, Eamon Brown, Dan, at Sunday Conversation, I just saw a text and I'm pulling over, talking to him about it. He was even more fired up than now about these. He just called them out. And imagine white guys and all, and women with pink hair out there telling black people in West Philly.
And he brings up the school choice issue. It's so hypocritical.
Exactly.
How do you force people to drink Kool-Aid when you have 100% juice sitting right there and you don't allow them to drink it? It's
so-called gentrification, and you have a roof deck. There you go.
Yeah, it's.
All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. Push pound 1210. Don't forget the side question. As they grab these protesters off, what song should be playing? Dan likes Kung Fu Fighting. I'm looking at that janitor who was in the building with the Yankees hat on, fighting this one guy off. As they're probably trying to convince him that he ought to stay hostage there with them to send a message about Gaza. And this guy's thinking, I'm a janitor. I want to get my work done and go home here. And you're going to mess it up anyhow. Can you imagine the janitors having to clean up this place after these idiots are done?
Indoctrinate them.
Yeah, trying to indoctrinate this. Oh, man, I wish there were sound to this. I just see pictures. I don't know about video. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get in on Talk Radio 1210.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free. With zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we have absolutely incredible offers, and a plethora of both new and certified Volvos from which to choose. We are eager to offer amazingly competitive prices because we need the room for all of our construction vehicles. When leasing or purchasing a new or certified Cherry Hill Volvo, you become part of our team. Join Cherry Hill Volvo for the pricing and attention you deserve. I am Judith Krepnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo.
I'm Philomena, founder of Kin Apparel here in Philly. I love my natural hair, but not what hoodies and hats were doing to it. So I made my own satin-lined hoodies and created a business in the process. I've got big dreams, and Chase for Business in Philly was like, all right, how do we get you there?
Get financial guidance from bankers in your community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. JP Morgan Chase Bank, and a member FDIC.
You know, this is the absolute worst time of year to be dealing with joint pain. The weather is breaking. Everybody's getting out today, whether it's golfing, going out, jogging, working out. And that joint pain is keeping you from doing everything you love to do. Am I right here? If you're tired of those achy joints, I want you to call my friends at QC Kinetics before you ever agree to things like surgery or steroids or medications. Patrick loves to golf like our own Nick Cale, although Patrick definitely wears his sunscreen. Patrick couldn't even walk because of that horrible knee pain. But after his QC Kinetics regenerative treatments for his knees, Patrick is back and has the best handicap he's seen in 15 years. How does that sound? I'd love to be talking about your story next, where you were able to get lasting relief, no downtime. Don't wait to call QC Kinetics 215-999-3000. Get that free consultation, 215-999-3000. Make sure you tell them Dawn sent you.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, welcome in, everyone. All right, so big poll out that I think tells where Americans are. Pretty close anyhow. 70-30, they're in agreement with a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. But when you ask, would you be in favor of a permanent ceasefire in Gaza if Hamas is still in charge? 68% no, 32% yes. You know, and it's at the core of this whole thing that these people are not asked, other than their ignorance and their just mob-like nonsense. And that is, what would we have Israel do? Several people calling in today, I noticed, and it's a great point. Well, Tony in Wildwood's making it. So let me go to Tony here on Talk Radio 1210. Tony, your point is a lot of people are hitting me today. Go right ahead.
Well, I'm just so curious about the news. If a cop does something, it's plastered all over the place. Why isn't this film being displayed on the news stations? As horrible and horrific as it is, people have to get slapped in the head and wake up and say, this is what they did. Now, do you stand behind this? Do you stand behind Hamas treating people like this? I can't.
I hear you. I can give you a partial answer. Obviously, a large part of it is the bias. Two, this is very tough, to your point, to watch. Maybe people would tune out. I mean, remember, it's a business too, Tony. I hear you. Initially, because it was going on, the initial. Well, I hear you. The initial heat of it.
And the truth is in that film.
Yeah.
The truth is in that film. They're going to deny it. They're going to say it's fictitious. They're going to do all this stuff. People have to say. And if any of my relatives were part of that, I'd disown them. I would totally disown them because this is BS, Tom. This is BS. Show it. If a cop beats up a black individual, it's all over the place. Right or wrong. A cop shoots up, it's all over the place. That's it. I mean, yes, it's bias. Well, when are we going to wise up? We have to get slapped in the face and realize it.
Gotcha. Thank you, Tony. Look, even right now, I get wound up and have to watch it. When I hear some of the commentary from those people, what they were saying, it's not just the things they did, the mutilation, making people watch, like the husband as they mutilated children and all that. Dan, you know what it is? These clowns tapping into, we were trying to we're trying to dirty them, essentially. That's a translation by doing all this. We want them to feel that in addition to killing them. There's only one way to deal with people like this. You know what it is. You got to take them out. Trump today commented, and I'm not sure his play on this, but he's accurate, that Netanyahu, he's saying something that's people not paying attention to now. It did happen on his watch. I'm still shocked that Israel couldn't respond more quickly to that. We were there in Israel. And in those places near Gaza, I thought they had more of an immediate response ready to go. But you couldn't anticipate these animals would be flying in on hang gliders. And just the sheer savage and the mentality behind it. Now, the media doesn't want to talk about that mentality because it kind of cuts religiously towards something they don't want to get into. This idea with women of despoiling them in this manner, not just brutalizing them to make them dirty. That came up a lot. Now, as I said, Sandberg, who was number 2, I guess, at Facebook behind Zuckerberg, has a film out. It's streaming, I think, soon, documenting this. But again, as much as the Holocaust deniers tried to do that, and as much as you had no techniques to document it like we have today, I think they were seen as outliers. So to Tony's point, how come with all the documentation we have today, in other words, the ability to show this, have they been able to foment so many people in denial? Let's face it, these people on those college campuses are in denial of this, by and large. And or they admit it and say, yeah, they're David, they're fighting Goliath, so they had to do this stuff, which is even worse. But at least if you get them to admit it, you can more firmly go after them. How does this cut politically? All the polling indicates it puts Biden in a tremendously hard spot. The White House today condemning, saying taking over a building is not a peaceful action. Now, in the George Floyd summer, we didn't hear that. We heard it was mostly peaceful actions. No, they didn't say that today. This is a line that's been crossed. And if it gets out there enough, and Fox is trying to do that, we played you some of that sound, and I hope Talk Radio does it. I hope this janitor comes forward, the guy that they were imprisoning there, at least for a period of time, until he punched a few of them, is a black man with a Yankees hat on. How do you think that looks to see these punks trying to force a janitor to stay into the building that they're occupying because they're having fun? This guy's trying to earn a living cleaning up after these punks. I told you today, too, the story from Forbes, where hiring managers at some of the biggest companies in the country, where your path is usually you went to the Ivy League, 1/3 of them said they're much less likely to hire an Ivy League graduate anymore. And this is well before all this stuff, just because of what they see as a deterioration. Of course it is. It's not a hall of excellence or anything else. It's ridiculous. They don't deserve that reputation. They got the pedigree. That's why they're able to charge what they want to charge. I do have a lot of resentment. Dan, do you? I mean, you went to Indiana, or do you not engage? I'll admit my foibles, I have a against the world kind of thing of certain kinds of people. I like this. It's a South Philly thing. It's something like that. I'm not sure what it is. I'll admit it. I tell it to Roche. I admit it. How about you?
No, I'm with you 100%. And I think you just have to handle it in the way that Indiana, my alma mater, did handle it, and just send in the state police and break things up, arrest individuals, and get them off the lawn. They were right outside our student union, and they just removed them. I'm sick of it. I don't know how the hell we got to the point, Dom, where we have an entire generation. Well, it sounds like an entire generation, but I really truly believe it's just a very vocal minority of a young generation here.
I think it is, but they're substantial in numbers. Case in point, my alma mater, these creeps at LaSalle, the Presidente and others when this happened, suggested, well, there's two sides to this argument in his initial comments, right?
Yeah.
And then they had the ambassadors to LaSalle, the student government of LaSalle, the weightlifters at LaSalle sign off on this cockamamie Muslim Student Association that talked about how Israel deserved it. What about all the stuff that Israel did to people?
Yeah, but I really think that's a result of a very small sect of individuals online weaponizing virtue. Like, I think that's what it's come down to, is they've weaponized virtue to the degree that administrators they've lost the courage to do what's right. Because they are fearful of the repercussions they're going to face online, on Twitter, on social media, from a very loud, nothing better to do than sit in mom's basement and care about something false here and make a big deal out of, administrators supporting Israel. And no, just push past it. Have some courage. Well, that's all it really takes.
Here's an example where they're getting their information from, Dan. TikTok again.
Yep.
This story out today.
It's ideological subversion.
30% of kids age 5 to 7 are on TikTok. And the study also indicated
How
those 30% of age 5 to 7. What are they doing on TikTok?
Yeah.
Now, look, I often take the stance. It's hard for parents today because of all the things that are out there. Harder to be a parent today than ever of young kids. But you know what? 5 to 7-year-olds, you should be able to stop them from being on TikTok. What are you, insane? All right, here is President Trump, Jimmy Matthews. Thanks for reporting me to the Biden White House. I hope they respond someday. We'll get them on, Dan. That in America, I can't say President Trump. He's an election denier. Get Judge Merchan over here. Gag him. You don't have a gag big enough, Jimmy. All right, here's President Trump talking about the protesters.
Biden protests that are going on are horrible. It's all caused by him because he doesn't know how to speak. He can't put two sentences together. He's got to get out and make a statement because the colleges are being overrun in this country. The anti-Semitism, all of the problems going on, they're being overrun. I've never seen anything like it. He said he ran because of Charlottesville. Well, if the people that know Charlottesville, when you extend the statement, it's a big hoax what they say was said, and they understand that. And Charlottesville is peanuts compared to what you're looking at now. This whole country is up in arms, breaking into colleges, knocking the hell out of Columbia University. I mean, they took over. I know the building very well. They took over a building. That is a big deal.
All right, there's President Trump on this. I have a lot more on the gag order with one of the president's attorneys coming up at 1:45, and Laura Trump is going to be on the show tomorrow. A lot to talk with her about election integrity, the trials, the Wildwood event. I have a whole laundry list. She'll be on tomorrow. I'll tell you the time coming up. All right, 855-839-1210.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Stockbrokers love to paint themselves as transparent. But if you are not aware of all of the fees taken out of your portfolio, can you really trust your broker?
I am Nancy Harding. This is my husband, Robert, from Glen Mills, Pennsylvania.
When Wall Street hides fees, you are being lied to because they're taking part of your money that you didn't know was going to be taken. Transparency is a word that's really batted around a lot and seldom seen. Crashproof makes their transparency obvious by recording the meetings. They're demonstrating we have nothing to hide.
All the things that were said become legally binding. Wall Street wouldn't record their meetings. They don't want whatever is said in that office to be legally binding. And so it's a little too dangerous for them to record.
Learn why recording financial meetings is the only way to guarantee legally binding transparency for your retirement future. Register for one of the Crashproof events on May 15th at the Washington Crossing Inn. Choose either the 11 a.m. or 5 p.m. event. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
It will be another July-like day today with partly sunny skies, high temperature well above average at 86. For tonight, partly to mostly cloudy with a shower or storm possible in spots, low 62. And for Wednesday, cooler, becoming partly sunny, high 76.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Live from the Cherry Hill Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, Don Giordano Show. Welcome. As I say, we're going to talk with one of the president's lawyers, Jay Town, at about 1:45. And National Day of Prayer coming up annually. We'll talk with a local woman we've had on for many years who does an unbelievable job a little bit later. But your calls throughout, there's a lot of things breaking, including I have a lot to say about mail-in balloting. It was better this time around for Republicans, but not nearly enough. Got a long way to go on this, and Don Jr. is cutting ads on it. Lara Trump will be on tomorrow, and she is out there saying it. The president sort of said it. But let me go to Parker in Philly on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Parker, good afternoon.
How you doing, Don?
Good.
I was commenting on do you separate Hamas from the Palestinians? Because we know how ruthless and crazy the Hamas is. But
Sure, but they are significant numbers. My sense is, based upon a lot of factors, significant numbers in Gaza do back them. Hard to say how much of it is fear, how much not, but a lot of people do support them. Mothers raise their kids to be a fighter, to do that stuff. So let's say it's 40, 50% that support, maybe the other half do not. What are we supposed to do to get rid of them?
To get rid of them?
Yes.
How about educate them? How about give them what the essentials that they need, like the gas, the electric? Israel's in control of that.
Yes.
So they had their foot on their neck. So when this didn't start, they didn't come over that wall and stuff like that because they were treating them nice or treating them great.
Well, I differ with you that Israel made a decision to allow Gaza to be semi-independent, at least, Parker. They let them try to rule themselves, and all that they do is attack Israel.
Okay, now when you say that, right, you're talking about people that had control of everything until Israel took over. Now you said they allowed them to govern themselves in the land that they lived in and were born in. That's how you sound saying that.
No, well, I don't think they had control of that. I'm saying that Israel, based upon attacks and all, has conquered territory like the West Bank, and they try to cede some authority back. Now, how come they've been able to work pretty much with the Palestinian authorities in the West Bank? Pretty much it is only sporadic, Parker, the stuff that you see. Hamas, where they're in charge, and they're afraid, the Palestinian authorities are even afraid of Hamas.
Right. But the people that are getting killed and stuff, and like the innocent children and women and stuff like that, in these thousands and stuff like that, right? You talk about how the people torture them and do all that stuff. You see what bombs do to people?
All right,
the bombs we send over there. We know what kind of damage they do because we make them.
I hear you. But by all accounts, what Israel is doing is more protective than the United States would be in a similar situation, Parker. And the numbers, any number of some of these thousands are horrific. They're not nearly, though, the Hamas-backed numbers. I don't think anybody has an accurate number. Dan, my producer, Parker, has a question for you. Go ahead, Dan.
No, this conversation fascinates me because I've had a similar one with a former Marine friend who has a kind of similar sense as Parker, and he suggested that we employ something similar to the Marshall Plan after World War II. But my question that I asked him, and I'll ask Parker the same answer, Marshall Plan was, something ran by the Allies to rebuild Europe. What's something, or who's going to be the one making the decision as to how to rebuild the Gaza Strip? I think the answer would have to be Hamas, right? Because they're not going to surrender their power in any way. So how do you get Hamas to surrender power to allow a path for that money to go in the correct directions? Because Israel has funneled money to Hamas to help them try to rebuild Gaza. It hasn't done anything except for led to an attack. So first question being, who is the deciding factor to rebuild Gaza? And second question, how do you make it so Hamas isn't that rebuilding factor?
Well, when you did the Marshall thing, that was in Europe. That was Germany and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So you got Hitler out of there first, right?
Yes.
Okay. So now, when you sent the people down there to get Hitler, right? You didn't kill everybody on the way there.
Well, there was a
whoa, wait a minute, Parker.
Nobody want.
No, Parker, look it up, and I'll just tell you, I am in favor of what they did. You look at the firebombing of Dresden. You look at what the Allies did. They savaged. They killed hundreds of thousands, millions of German civilians, and they were correct to do it.
Yeah, but that was the English, and the English did that pretty much for revenge for what they were doing in London.
Well, they were American bombers. Thank you, Parker, very much. 855-839-1210. I support Winston Churchill's decision on that. It wasn't solely revenge. It was to try to. The Nazis were not going to surrender, just like the bombs in Nagasaki and Hiroshima.
And I hate to say, I think we're in that right now where we've gotten to the point where Gaza's they're not going to surrender the power, Hamas. So the only way to do this
is to root them out.
Yeah, regrettably to root them out. And I think all of us want to see peace in Gaza as the end goal, but how do we get there realistically?
Israel has not attacked Rafah, which is the most densely populated. They've held back. You can't ask them to do that forever. All right, coming up, we'll talk with one of the president's attorneys about the gag order and everything else. Captain Chucky's reminds you to make the call for a delectable dinner for Mom. Mother's Day, May 12th. Order delicious seafood. That's the ticket. Make your list and let Captain Chucky's help. Don't forget to order the brand new Bang Bang Jumbo Lump Crab Cake. Delicious, creamy 5-ounce jumbo lump breaded crab cake with a kick for those who like to spice it up with some heat. Check your store for availability. Important to call them up. Perfect time, too, for all of Captain Chucky's offerings. Delicious stuffed mushrooms, salads, tremendous variety of homemade dishes, desserts. Captain Chucky's always has several choices of breaded, non-breaded crab cakes. Literally a crab cake for everybody. Desserts, soups, sides, appetizers. Only the highest quality ingredients. Golf shrimp, huge hit. Always, every occasion. And they're always wild-caught, never farm-raised. My favorite, got to have the Dom roll. Visit Captain Chucky's today, location near you. We love crabcakes.com. That's where you go. We love crabcakes.com.
If you put the words retirement savings crisis into Google, you'll get about 81 million references to explore. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, crazy markets, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. Don't trade the stress of work for a new kind of stress in retirement. Call Jim Cipriotti today, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415 to schedule your complimentary retirement second opinion. Or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Spring is here. Get ahead of summer pricing and availability. Call CNC Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Lennox dealers. Family owned and operated, serving Montgomery and Bucks counties for over 50 years. With 24/7 service and trained technicians, CNC will make sure your system is running efficiently before you get stuck without cooling on blistering hot days coming up. 0% financing options are available. Schedule an estimate today at cc-hvac.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, we have absolutely incredible offers, and a plethora of both new and certified Volvos from which to choose. We are eager to offer amazingly competitive prices because we need the room for all of our construction vehicles. When leasing or purchasing a new or certified Cherry Hill Volvo, you become part of our team. Join Cherry Hill Volvo for the pricing and attention you deserve. I am Judith Krupnick, president of Cherry Hill Volvo.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
All right, we got a great guest coming up here with Dom, former U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama and a surrogate for the Trump people monitoring. Man, they need like 100, all these indictments and all these cases. And I think he's got something to say, Dan, you tell me, from his Twitter on what college presidents ought to do with these mobs.
Great suggestion.
Attorney Jay Town joins us in Philadelphia. Attorney, welcome to Philadelphia.
Great.
Yeah, we saw on your Twitter, we're good fact checkers. Tell us your solution, what you might recommend to the college presidentes here.
Yeah. At J-Town, Alabama, for your listeners. But shameless plug, I know. No, if those schools have a football team or a hockey team or even a girls rugby team, they could probably send them to the mobs and break them up fairly quickly. There's a reason. I live in Alabama. There's a reason why you don't see these protests at SEC schools, because the cops wouldn't even have to handle it. The boys would show up in their pickup trucks and, wearing their sunglasses and, just walk over and I'm sure handle it like gentlemen.
Oh, absolutely. I like the ladies rugby team better, though. That's even more fun.
Yeah.
A roller derby team.
By the looks of the protesters, I don't think they're a big struggle. I mean, you saw the I think it was a Virginia or Texas state trooper just pick up a protester and just haul them off, right? And they're screaming and whining and people are just laughing. And it really goes to show you, for all the kids out there, don't ever skip leg day.
Yeah, Spencer Strider in Georgia would be a heck of a person to bring in. He's the big guy with that. By the way, I know you do a lot of interviews, but it helps you make this point if it comes up on colleges. Did you see that janitor, at least one, maybe more, claims to be imprisoned by the Columbia University people until he started pummeling several of them?
Yeah, well, false imprisonment is a felony, and much of what these protesters are doing are crimes. And at some point, the administration ceases to be a viable option, and police are just going to have to go in and do what police do. And so I think I speak for everybody. We're all done waiting for Colombia for its list of demands to not be met, and they just continue to go down the list as if the previous 5 were met, right? and it's just so feckless, and it encourages this behavior. I mean, there's a reason why we are seeing this across college campuses across the country, and there's a real deep concern. I know we're laughing and talking about girls rugby teams and sort of the wimpiness of the mask-clad, mobster that are these protesters supporting a terrorist group. But there is a seriousness here that I do believe that there is a generation of Americans, certainly a large segment, too large of a segment, that is pretty much the way they base their philosophy is they are always for the victim. Nothing wrong with being for victims. But if an argument, a political argument, is framed in such a way that America or America's institutions, the Supreme Court, the state of Israel, are the opposition or the oppressor, then they are instantly for whatever those institutions are against. And so they're for Hamas. They're for people staking out Justice Kavanaugh's residence with an automatic or a semi-automatic weapon. They don't believe that a conservative speaker could come in and share his or her views on their campus because they're all Nazis, of course. Now, I've been called worse, and look, I've been prosecutor for 22 years at what some would say a fairly high level. And there are victims of defendants that I prosecuted those defendants, and maybe the victims didn't like the outcome, or the defendants certainly didn't. And you're called a number of things, and some of this stuff you just have to take with a grain of salt as sort of factored into the job. But at the same time, we have to be concerned where our youth are learning these lessons. They're learning them from the professors, from the liberal teachers, from the parents, or probably the lack thereof, that are not offering them any guidance to love this
exactly.
country.
I just had another question for you. I had a whole list, but it popped into my mind. What are you doing around January 20th? How about a deputy attorney general or attorney general? I don't care. Let's get that rolling here. I think Jay Town would be an interesting attorney general. My God.
The only thing I'm planning on right now is going to one of the inaugural balls for now President, at that time would be President Trump in his second term. Those are my only plans. I have a wife and a 13-year-old, so man, don't get me in trouble. I don't know what she's listening to radio in Philly.
Oh, absolutely. Well, let's talk about Judge Merchan. And it's one thing to maybe feel the guys on the other side, but my sense, I'm a law school dropout. I dropped out to do this. I just didn't pass the state bar. I never did it. I won moot court, though. Write that one down. But, Jay, this judge doesn't strike me as a Judge Ito, necessarily, O.J. Simpson fame, but he doesn't seem to be in control in the right way to conduct the trial. Well, what are your thoughts on how he's handling the trial?
Well, I mean, poorly, in a word. And I don't appreciate you saying that you won moot court. It was something I didn't do, and therefore to come on your show and have you one up me, it seems a little incredulous and maybe inappropriate. But we'll move on. I'll accept your apology, and we'll move on and rebuild. Judge Merchan has made a number of mistakes. He has a casual relationship with the rules of evidence and the rules of court. He is allowing, even after the Weinstein ruling that overturned the conviction of a convicted, rapist, sexual predator, a number of those determinations by the Supreme Court in the state of New York actually impact the Trump case, and he's been undeterred. And so I think that what I would say about Judge Merchan, and I think the gag order, and I know you want to get to that, the gag order is a great example. It illuminates his permissive bias. This gag or any gag order, just so folks know, the point of a gag order, and they are extraordinarily rare, especially when you're prosecuting the presumptive nominee for president of the United States. It's never happened before. But a gag order, courts have the authority to restrain certain aspects of speech that present a significant and imminent risk to the fair and orderly administration of justice in that courtroom. Now, you tell me how President Trump proclaiming his innocence, that this is a sham trial, that these charges are bogus, that why Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels are saying whatever they want. Cohen has a podcast that is named Mea Culpa. It's named after the fact that he ever represented the former president. And yet they're able to say whatever they want. They're not subject to the gag order at all. It was always illegal to attack witnesses with harm, to threaten harm on a witness. Right?
Exactly.
So if you testify, then I'm going to do X to you, or to out a juror as being biased and they need reprimand. Right? That's always been illegal. That's obstruction of justice 101. But Judge Merchan has included a non-party to this entire case, which is his daughter, who's raising millions of dollars for political opponents of the defendant. And she's doing it on the basis of the case that's on her daddy's docket. And yet she's not gagged, but Trump can't say a word about her. That's absurd. And this really is a constitutional and legal absurdity. President Trump, like any defendant, like any political candidate, they have the right under the First Amendment to political speech. And that is being abridged, if not entirely blunted, by Judge Merchan's order to your original question.
Hey, Jay, if you were there, excuse me, you would make the, as I would, if it were moot court, just kidding, and say, Jay, that, you know what, this is political. Trump this is going to be, most polling indicates, determinative. If he is convicted of any Mickey Mouse throughout this thing, some degree of people in the swing states might turn against him. So the very nature of this crawls with politics. And unless it is an overwhelming direct threat or outing of jurors, there's no way there ought to be any kind of gag order here.
I 100% agree, and especially this gag order is constitutionally overbroad. And I'll say that, you mentioned a conviction. I'll say this: if he's not convicted of a felony, if there's a hung jury, or if he's acquitted, this will be rocket fuel for Trump's campaign, and really just illustrate again the lawfare that's taking place against the Republican nominee. 22 years in the business of prosecution, stood in front of over 100 juries, prosecuted over 10,000 defendants in my career. And I don't say that to be immodest, but what I can tell you is after 3 weeks of, 2.5 weeks of trial, we've had several witnesses. And I can tell you, I've yet to see one scintilla of evidence of any crime, much less one committed by the former president. We've seen evidence of catch and kill schemes. Those are legal. NDAs with women. Those are legal. LLCs being formed by the former legal counsel to the former president. That's legal. Taking out a line of credit on your house. That's completely legal. I mean, there hasn't been where all these witnesses into the trial, and the prosecution has not, other than trying to criminalize NDAs and catch and kill schemes, which there won't be a jury instruction suggesting that those are illegal. There hasn't been any evidence of criminality at all. And I'll just say this, and I know we're wrapping up, and I apologize for hogging your airwaves and your moot court prowess here, but let me just say that you would assume that the first prosecution of the president of the United States in history, right? You would assume that would be conducted by serious people with serious facts that regard serious charges. But instead, here we are with a porn star, a perjurer, a DA in poorly fitted suits, a judge with the appearance of impropriety, a perilously vague charging instrument, and a pecker, Dom.
Jay, we got to get you here in Philadelphia. I see why you're a surrogate for this. Please, I know you got a busy schedule. We want to get you back
Thank you, Jay.
very, very soon, Jay. Thank you, J-Town. Is Jay not there?
No, he's still there. Jay, you there?
Jay? No, I think he went out.
I'm here.
I think he went out on a high note with the pecker comment. Hey, Jay, thank you so much. We truly want to get you back as soon as possible.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. I'm in.
All right, J-Town. Dan, and we didn't know, when they write that name down in bold letters. Oh,
great,
my
man.
goodness. My God. All right.
At J-Town, Alabama, if you want to give him a follow.
Oh, God.
too.
The ladies rugby team. 855-839-1210. Jump on board. We'll take some of your calls. Dom's Money Melody coming up here on Talk Radio 1210.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-635-3311. That's 1-800-635-3311.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Homeowners, improve your family's comfort with a Bradford White water heater and enjoy all the hot water your household needs. All day, every day. With Bradford White, you get more than just a water heater. You get our commitment to quality and reliability that you can trust. How you heat your water matters, so don't compromise when it comes to your home or your hot water. Bradford White water heaters are built to be the best because your home deserves it. Visit BradfordWhite.com to learn more and find an installation pro near you.
Hi, this is Joe Mederchik, PNC Bank Regional President. Down the corner, around the block, and maybe even in your parking lot, PNC continues to bring banking services closer to your door. Greater Philadelphia is now one of 10 regions where we've permanently introduced the PNC Bank mobile branch. This bank on wheels can be seen rolling up to community organizations across the Delaware Valley. On site and by your side, the PNC Mobile Branch is part of our commitment to supporting communities that need it most. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Nick. I visited my friends at Piazza Acura of Westchester and drove the Road and Track Performance Car of the Year, the 2024 Acura Integra. I owned an Acura for 10 years, and the new Integra is by far the most striking Acura I have seen. Well equipped with advanced safety and tech features like wireless Apple CarPlay, high-performance adaptive damper system, Wi-Fi, hotspot capability, and 16-speaker premium audio system. Visit PiazzaAcura.com or test drive the new Integra at Piazza Acura in Westchester, Ardmore, or Reading. Tell them Nick sent you.
Camden County and Visit South Jersey have an action-packed weekend for wine and beer lovers. Enjoy a day sipping wine at the annual Down and Derby Wine Festival with South Jersey's favorite wineries this Saturday. And get ready to fiesta like there's no mañana at the Spring on Tap Beer Festival on Cinco de Mayo this Sunday at Veterans Island at Cooper River Park. One weekend, one location, tons of fun. Buy your tickets now at downandderbywinefestival.com. Downandderbywinefestival.com. Spring on Tap is free to attend.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. I was avoiding this until the moment's right. Now it's out there. Transcript of 2 interviews with President Trump, and some reason doing this with Time Magazine. And, of course, what do they want to talk about most? Abortion. All right? He did say you don't need a federal ban. We just got out of the federal back on Roe v. Wade, but wouldn't say he would veto it. And there was a lot of just all kinds of abortion discussion with all that's going on in the world. I don't understand why President Trump, who's good at pivoting on this stuff, couldn't say at the time, look, I made my comments on this. I stick by them. I've already said everything on this. It's back in the States. And then pivot away from that. But the amount in this transcript of stuff about abortion and all these hypotheticals just is exactly what the Biden people are all over the place today running around with. All right, now you just heard Jay Town. That was great stuff. Really, really good stuff. As far as his look at Judge Merchan, I have the transcript of what he put out, 8 pages of the gag order with more to come, apparently, claiming that Trump can't repost something. He can't have somebody else say something around this. And we just laid out how preposterous this is. But it's surprising, is it not, that the damage of this case, as silly as it is, as far as not following any legal principles, could happen given what it goes on in New York. Wow. The House Judiciary Committee, Dan just gave me this right off the presses, is going to hold a field hearing on Friday on victims of crime. Where? Right here in Philadelphia. Victims of violent crime in Philadelphia. It will examine how Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner's pro-criminal policies embolden criminals at the expense of victims and Philadelphia residents. Dan, do you see some of the names here? I'll give you probably remember most. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
This is going to be big time with this creep. I hope they asked him. I don't see him here that he will testify. I would hope that he would. Dan, there's a lot of compelling people on here. Terry O'Connor, widow of the slain Philadelphia police officer, who definitively is not alive with his family now because of Krasner and his policies with people that shot him with automatic weapons that Krasner always talks about that were out because of Krasner. It was a notorious shooting.
Yeah, Corporal James.
Nick Gerace, retired Philadelphia police officer who has been incredible in going after Krasner. And then, of course, oh my God, the Fitzgeralds. Pauline Fitzgerald, mother of Temple University Police Sergeant Christopher Fitzgerald, and then Dr. Joel Fitzgerald, father of Temple University Police Sergeant. How could a creep like Larry Krasner stand up person to person with Dr. Joel or Pauline Fitzgerald? So they're coming to town here. You're hearing it first here on Friday. Okay.
I just said Corporal James. I just want to correct myself. He was Mate Sergeant.
Yeah, Mate Sergeant. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So those are some of the witnesses. I don't know if Krasner will be called to testify. Why here in Philadelphia? Because it's one of the worst, and it continues. Yesterday we told you Krasner couldn't bring himself to say if they don't move off that encampment that Penn has told people to move off, that he might in any way, shape, or form pursue a case against them. And he lectured people on the fact that the Supreme Court is determining right now whether or not people sleeping in the streets that are homeless have any rights. And this would be the same thing. I wonder if they ask him if they take over a building like they have at Columbia and imprison a janitor. See, they don't see it as imprisoning. Let me go back to this janitor. African-American male. There might have been a couple janitors there with a Yankees hat on. Really went after one of these guys. That's how he got out of there. They just believe, because they're so used to shutting down people, imprisoning them. The attorney just talked about that you have no right to do that. 855-839-1210. You get on board. All right. So we got a lot of developments here. I'll give you an update on Don Trump Jr. And, well, let me play so I don't forget. Then I'll tell you a couple of other things about it. Here's Don Jr. This is cut 11, Dan, telling people and pleading to join the mail-in balloting list.
If you're working a double shift or family responsibilities prevent you from voting on Election Day, Joe Biden wins. Pennsylvania, I need you to join the mail-in voting list today. Visit skipthelinepa.vote.
All right, and there's good news to report. I'll give you all the statistics. It was up to 26% in this last primary that voted. Republican votes were mail-in. That's not enough, though. All right, we have other figures in mind of what it would have to be. We'll pretty much know on Election Day if we reach the number where we're poised to win Pennsylvania. And if we're poised to win Pennsylvania, wow, I believe that's the presidency, without a doubt. All right, what song should be played as these mobs are ultimately led away is one of the questions we have in mind. Let's go to Mike in Marlton on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Mike, good afternoon.
Hey, Dom, how you doing?
Good, Mike.
What I thought was as they are walking the folks off the campus grounds, blasting on the PA would be "Get a Job" by the Silhouette.
By Silhouette. Do you know that one, Dan?
No, but I'm pulling it up right now.
Let's hear a little bit of it. Mike.
I know it. Yeah.
Well, I tell you this, Mike, the big story of the day to me is Forbes reporting managers of the biggest companies in the country, 33% of them are much less likely to hire someone from an Ivy League school.
You know what? I don't blame them. I'll tell you right now.
Absolutely.
I work at a big company, a big defense company, and I'll tell you what, a lot of the people that I see come in sometimes come from general colleges, good colleges, and they're one of the top performers in the company. So
yeah, absolutely. All right, thank you, Mike. Yeah, that's exactly the fact. All right, Dan, I want to go a little bit early today, if we can. It is time right now for a great prize for what?
It's Dom's Money Melody.
Where's all the money gone?
All right, today we are playing for a pair of tickets to see comedian Brian Regan on October 18th at the Miller Theater in Philadelphia. Tickets go on sale 10 a.m. Friday, May 3rd at Ticketmaster.com. Dan?
Yeah, so Dom, today we're talking about songs that would be played on the way out as these protesters are kicked out. I thought I'd take one that was the first one that actually came to mind, Dom. Played in a different language, and we got to know, Dom, what language this is sung in. I'll give a huge clue that this language very much associated with famous shoes. I just want to put that out there. So, Dom, take a listen. We want to know what language this very famous song that should be played at these protests, what language that's being sung in. Take a listen. How was this song ever a hit?
Wow, it's brutal. What the heck? All right. So let's play that. But what language is it? Hit us with that quickly. 855-839-1210. By the way, Gabriella Bruno annually joins us. It's a big National Prayer Day, I guess, on Thursday. She'll join us and just give you a little preview here locally, what's happening coming up. But your calls right now, let's get a winner. 855-839-1210.
The good and bad with home improvement projects. The good, you save a buck or two. The bad,
Kevin, there's no hot water.
so you move on to the car.
Kevin, what's with the car?
Good news, you can recover from these.
Kevin!
Well, most all of them. But when it comes to your retirement, a mistake can be devastating.
Call Joe Yakovich at JML Financial Group. He's been helping folks prepare for retirement for over 30 years. That's why he's able to correct your do-it-yourself problems before they're problems.
Get your complimentary assessment of where you are now and look at some of the retirement boxes you haven't even thought of.
Kevin!
You can't YouTube your retirement. Call Joe Yakovich at 856-925-6674 or visit jmlfinancialgroup.com. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Hey, Philly. Jason Kelsey here. Even though I won't be playing on Sundays anymore,
You can still find me at Lincoln Financial Field on Saturday, May 18th for the Eagles Autism Challenge presented by Lincoln Financial Group. This event raises millions of dollars to support autism research and care and gives you the chance to walk, run, or ride your bike beside your favorite Eagles players. Together, we can transform the lives of individuals affected by autism. Register today at eaglesautismchallenge.org, and I'll see you there.
It pretty much hurt doing anything. I couldn't ride a bicycle. You don't have your life because you don't have your mobility.
So when Patrick heard about QC Kinetics and their non-invasive regenerative treatments for pain, no waiting, he called them immediately.
There's no downtime. There's no rehab. That was the tipping point for me. I didn't have to take any drugs. I didn't have to rehab.
Before considering surgery, check out QC Kinetics all-natural treatment options that restore and repair damaged joint tissue in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back.
If you have knee replacement surgery, and then the knee is not yours, and there's no guarantee that that's going to be successful.
QC Kinetics. Patients around the country are raving about the results. They're getting back their mobility, taking back their lives with no downtime, no drugs, and no surgery. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
Hey everyone, Boomer Esiason here. The NFL draft is behind us and your favorite team is now gearing up for week number 1. The free Odyssey app puts you right in the middle of the pro football conversation with the biggest sports radio stations from across the country. The local voices who know your team the best, giving you their unfiltered takes on the current state of your squad. It's always football season on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. Download it today.
If your child needs support, special tutoring, and custom instruction, METC is here to help. Now's the time to make the call to Kathy Ganna and METC. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages to grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Now's the time to get assistance for your child to help them succeed. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200. That's 215-493-4200.
Hey, Ambler. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Follow us anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
It's the Money Melody.
Show me the money. Yes, that's right. Every day around 2:13 or so, we give you something, great prize, a lot of fun. Let's hear the clue, and then I'll give you a little hint.
Zo, dat smeken had geen zin. Jij trok je beste jurkje aan, je zette je rode hoedje.
All right, that's enough. It's pretty tough. It's a lot of places around Philadelphia. It might be in naming and in this language. Let's go to John in Linfield. All right, John, good afternoon. What's the language?
Hey, how are you, Dom? Is it Russian?
No, it's not. I think of a lot of places around Philadelphia. Like,
and it's actually the 4th most spoken language in the state of Pennsylvania for good reason.
Like Schuylkill. Let's go to Debbie in Maple Shade. All right, Debbie, what's the language?
German.
That's getting closer.
Close, so close.
Think of Philadelphia. Think of Philadelphia. Think of moving up the turnpike toward that part of Pennsylvania. Think of that. Kevin in Doylestown. All right, Kevin, what's the language?
Sweden.
No. Think of Schuylkill. Think of...
Schuylkill's actually from this language. It means hidden, sulking creek.
Think of Ballakinwit.
Think of shoes, clogs.
Yes. Let's go to Tom and Bucks. All right, Tom, what's the language?
Hello.
Hi. Yes, Tom.
Hello, it's Dutch.
Yeah. What is it, Tom?
He said it.
All right, Dutch. Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yes.
That's the right. Tom's the winner today, and we will send Tom off to see Brian Reagan on October 18th at the Miller Theater.
Sorry to
Okay.
make both you and the listeners endure that. Oh,
Okay. All right. That's good. It plays into what we're talking about today. All right. So we heard from one of the surrogates for the Trump campaign, great attorney. You had to put that guy out there or in the courtroom about the gag order today. We're seeing a lot more pushback now. I'm looking at Governor Hochul tell us this is not peaceful. Well, where was she during the George Floyd summer? Mostly peaceful. Stories making its way out there. At least one janitor was held hostage for a while till he beat up one of these guys to get out of the building they're occupying at Columbia. And a number of people, unprompted by me today, are making the point, wouldn't it be good for someone in the media to show October 7th, as we saw it right afterwards, some more of that footage? I think it would. I think people would watch. Sheryl Sandberg, I told you, from Facebook, has a documentary. It's about ready to go online that should be out there pretty soon, or is already out there. So you might be seeing that a bit. But just, people thinking we realize you're not going to get through to this ignorant mob who's getting their information from TikTok. Again, they're having a lot of fun. The attorney even made mention of what propels them. They see Israel and the United States together. That's the Goliath against David. They have no real knowledge of this or want to have any real knowledge of this. You can't shame them with October 7th. You might be able to break them down to get them to say, well, Israel had it coming. That's a win if you can get them publicly to say that. But they usually don't answer anything based upon any specifics that you might bring up. And we're seeing these colleges, with rare exceptions, caving into this. Even at Texas again today, they have sit-ins. They've been hauling people off, and they'll continue to do this. Mike Johnson, Dan, and you might see some sound of this. Let's dip in for a moment here. He's announcing, the speaker, a crackdown on campus anti-Semitism. All right, let me say what they're going. Let's hear her a little bit, Dan. They're gonna go after funding. $7 billion went to Ivy League universities that have these protests. Okay, we got it. So as I understand it, the universities involved, Harvard to some degree, Princeton, got to say Princeton, they have been arresting, moving people out. Columbia, Yale calmed down. Penn, with an ineffectual temporary president there, and a few others, they get, according to government sources, $7 billion in taxpayer funds a year went to Ivy League schools with these protests. And when you consider, and I have the figures here, Harvard's endowment right now, what they have in the kitty, 50,877,000,000. Yale, 41,383 and change billion. Stanford, 36 and change billion. Princeton, 35 billion. MIT, 24 billion. Those are the top 5 endowments in billions of dollars. I also told you that Forbes has a great piece out today, big national survey, that managers of big companies, you just heard a caller talk about this, 33% of them say they are much more reluctant to hire someone from the Ivy League than they were 5 years ago, seeing that kind of time. And this is done well before what we see playing out now. So every campus that's under fire, they're handling it in different ways. Penn, of course, is taking their usual nonsensical way with this. Columbia, they are not going to give up here. They're emboldened by what they've done. So they're going to have to ultimately root them out of there. Do they have the stomach to do it? I'd say no. I think what's in their mind is they're thinking, how long can these people do it? Either finals are almost over, they're over, the end of the year and all that. They're going to cancel graduation at a lot of these places, cowardice, as usual. Will they lose any funding or whatever? We haven't seen a single Democrat up there with Mike Johnson. Politically, morally, Johnson and the Republicans that are speaking are doing exactly the right thing. In other words, they want to take away funding. That's the only way that you can stop these places. The problem is Democrats will never relent to that. So I would assume it would take the Senate also. I'm not sure what power temporarily the House might have to take away that funding. It should never have been at that point. People resent it. It's ridiculous. How do you get $7 billion? For what? Particularly when we see the endowments they have. I don't know Penn's exact endowment. I know it's got to be in the 20 billion, something like that range. And by the way, the same people, the progressives, always tell us about we're not taxed enough. Penn avoids that because it's an educational institution. It's the biggest employer in the city. I think it's over 17,000 employees. They skate on all this stuff, and yet big money flows through there constantly. So how are they able to continue to do this? Well, at least the House is putting this at this moment on the front page. All right, phone lines. Side question today. As these people are carted off, as they will be, have been, Texas, many institutions. We referenced today the Emory. The state trooper just picked this professor up, had her on like it was a cardboard cutout, taking her off. And police have gone in and have been sent in any number of places. But a place like Columbia, I don't see them doing it. I will be very surprised as that plays out. And you see politically, in the big scheme of things, this is another thing that enrages the average American. Already, the antagonism, and rightfully so, towards these colleges, college in general, is there. This is just the worst of these entitled punks. And to try to hold hostage and convince a janitor with a Yankees hat on to be in unison with them when he's trying to clean the building and get out of there, and he happens to be African American, that's going to, once this guy starts doing interviews, I hope he does. Let's go to Brian in Pottstown. And Brian, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Brian, good afternoon.
Hi, Dom. I was just wondering if it wouldn't be interesting to ask those kids at Columbia how they feel like identifying with Israel by being occupiers.
That's an interesting line. Well, we played, and we might play it again, Lawrence Jones asking a few questions like this of one of those students. And ultimately, after she said that's a false narrative, she said, get out of my face. So, yeah.
I'm sorry. You could just easily turn these people in knots.
Well, they are, but that doesn't mean you can penetrate them. They are shameless, and for people supposedly educated at Ivy League institutions, they are ignorant beyond belief. I don't mean they just believe something different. I mean, there is appalling ignorance here in the main with a lot of them. Not just they see it this way, but they can't articulate any reasoning around that on just basic facts. Dan, do you have that one? Now you'd have to go through a million things. Remember the one the other day we played of the woman that you found that they asked, what are we doing this for? And she asked her colleague why we're doing this. There was absolutely no sense of it. So this is a big movement by Republicans to say, all right, we're not going to fund you. What power do they have to do that? Well, they might be able to push back on various Democrats that this is a tough call for. It brings it into play with the average person. It's the same thing as the student loan debt. It's the same principle. Okay, annual tradition. We'll take more of your calls coming up on the side question, too. 31st annual day of prayer gathering coming up on May 2nd. That's Thursday. We'll talk with Gabrielle Bruno, who runs this. I don't know if we've talked with her for 10 years or so here locally, but your calls will get in as many people as we can. 855-839-1210.
Weather sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
We'll get down to around 60 overnight and clouds will roll in. Partly sunny tomorrow with a high of 81. On Thursday, 86, more sunshine. And on Friday, it'll be 72. Saturday, not as warm, a high 65, and we'll probably see some rain.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Today, we're the largest injury firm in the world, and I'm thankful to you for trusting us all these years. We'll always be here for the people, not the powerful. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-499-1216. 800-499-1216. 800-499-1216.
Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo, makes banking faster and easier. Like this.
Fargo, what's my checking account routing number?
And this.
Fargo, turn off my debit card.
And this.
Fargo, what did I spend on groceries last month?
And that's just the beginning. Do you Fargo? You can in the Wells Fargo mobile app. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/getfargo.
Terms and conditions apply. Your mobile carrier's availability and message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
Hi, everyone. Stephanie here from Emmons. You know, a great way to spring out of those winter blues is by upgrading the favorite place in your home, your bathroom. Emmons will give you an affordable, modest bathroom refresh with synthetic stone surrounds in as little as 1 day. That's right, 1 day. And Emmons will include interior design consultations at no cost to you. This is an easy way to spruce up your bathroom without having to break the bank. Call Emmons today at 856-885-6677 or check out our website at callemmons.com.
Lose 20 to 40 plus pounds guaranteed with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into their radio show Sundays at 2 or visit njdiet.com.
It's time to get excited because new iced honey bun multi-packs are coming your way. Now you can find both delicious Tasty Cake honey bun flavors in 6-count boxes. Whether you love to bite into a soft and cinnamony iced or glazed honey bun, Tasty Cake has got you covered. Pick up a pack for your family today and bring home your favorite tasty treats. Make today tasty with Tasty Cake, except no substitutions.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, it is Dom time. One of the things we certainly need more of is prayer, particularly for the last, umpteen number of years. We've had on mom and daughter, Gabrielle Bruno and her mom at times, or sometimes singularly, Patty Bruno. And the 31st Annual Day of Prayer Gathering is 11:30 a.m. Thursday, May 2nd, Rose Tree Park, 1671 North Providence Road in Upper Providence out there in Delaware County. Gabrielle's with us this year to talk about this. Hey, Gabrielle, good to have you.
Hi, Dom. Thank you so much for having us. And yeah, you've had us, I think, the past decade, 10 years. You've helped us spread the word. We're so excited. We have had more community engagement this year than ever before. I've been listening to the show, and obviously there's a lot going on in the world and in our country, and we do need prayer, and people realize that. So we're excited. We're expecting easily 500 people that'll come out to the park to pray, and we're going to be praying for you. We pray for 7 areas of influence, including, of course, the media, which is our radios, our television, news networks, social media. We'll be praying over TikTok because God knows He needs to influence that area. But if I may, because this is more credible than TikTok, I want to share with your listeners just real quick the history of the National Day of Prayer, because we need to know about this. This is a privilege that we live in America and that we have had for 73 years, since 1952, an annual National Day of Prayer by law. It is signed by the president. Every Democrat, every Republican president since 1952 has proclaimed a National Day of Prayer. And it predates that, because from our founding, from our Constitutional Convention.
Gabrielle? Yeah, go ahead.
Sounds like we might have a disconnection there.
All right. Gabrielle back with us? All right. The theme this year for the National Day of Prayer is Lift Up God's Word in Prayer for Our Nation. And as I said, this has grown into a huge event. Gabrielle, you were saying you gave 70 years, and what was your point?
Yes, sorry, we got cut off. So since 1952, we've had this day of prayer. It's a National Day of Prayer by law. Every president since 1952 has proclaimed a National Day of Prayer, and since 1988, it's always been the first Thursday of May. So we're really privileged to be in a country that has a National Day of Prayer. And now, as we, continue to celebrate it, it's now our responsibility to uphold that tradition. We can't let that disappear, not on our watch. We're going to make sure that for generations to come, they have the freedom to gather together in public and to pray. And that's what we're going to be doing in Rose Tree Park, like you said, Thursday, May 2nd, this week. There's lots of information on our website, which is National Day of Prayer Delco, DELCO for Delaware County.com. It starts at 11:30 a.m., but if you come early, there will be worship music, and there's going to be a huge display of free resources to give away. There's free books. There's books about the importance of Jewish brothers and sisters, about Israel and the peace of Jerusalem. There's prayer guides. There's other ministries that are coming, such as Grand Stepping Up, who supports grandparents who are raising their grandchildren. They have, support community. So you really want to come. You're going to meet different people in the body of Christ from all around Delaware County. And I'm really excited. We always have it at lunchtime. And this is the first year we're actually going to have lunch. We have Sabatino's Mobile Pizzeria has generously decided to come, and they're donating free pizza and French fries for everybody. We have an ice cream truck. The first 100 ice cream cones are going to be free. So it's going to be a really beautiful time. It's not a festival, but it is a time for the body of Christ to come together and pray and cry out to Jesus and say, God, we want you in our nation. You know, we've kicked him out of our courtrooms and our classrooms and our families. We've at most put him in the Sunday box, but God is God every day of the week. So we come together, we pray, we have worship music. It's really beautiful. We pray for our government leaders. We pray for our churches, our businesses. Of course, we pray for the children and the youth. We pray for the military, which is so important. And it's just a really special time. Every year, it's gotten bigger and bigger. And like I was saying, the community's gotten very engaged this year. If you check out the Facebook page, it's Delaware County NDP for National Day of Prayer. There's just a lot of people that can tell. They feel in the atmosphere the spiritual battle. And prayer is the answer. Prayer changes things. I heard saying prayer is not preparation for the battle. Prayer is the battle. So that's what we're coming together to do.
All right. Well, we will continue this tradition. 31st Annual Day of Prayer Gathering, 11:30 a.m. Thursday, May 2nd, Rose Tree Park, out there on Providence Road in Upper Providence. Say hello to your mom and Gabrielle. Thank you.
Thank you, Dom. God bless you. And I hope you all go to the website, nationaldayofprayerdelco.com, and you'll be totally up to speed. We'll see you Thursday.
Thanks, Gabrielle and Patty Bruno, just two lovely people over the years who have engaged in this. I haven't seen yet a Democrat up there. I'm not sure if the couple of Democrats who are Jewish will participate in this or whether they think that's over the. I'm not sure, but Republicans making a bold move. It's the right thing to do, and it's the politically right thing to do to say no. Americans are tired of funding these institutions anyhow. They're tired of funding most of these colleges, but particularly the snotty Ivy League. And Stanford, you have the West Coast Ivy League, throw it in there. They already have enough endowments, enough money. It's believed the federal government, one way or another, it's well over $7 billion to these institutions where we're seeing this play out. And they're talking about this, particularly in terms of anti-Semitism, which exactly it is, among other things. And I think they were prepared to do this anyhow, but it's also, they're doing it because of the takeover of the building. They're doing it today. The takeover of the building, and they're still allowing them to do it, has stepped over a line. Even they have to admit the circus that's going on there at Columbia, the people at Columbia feel it's going to be fueled even more now. Good. It's maddening, but that's what elections are about. Here's Mike Johnson, Speaker Johnson, about anti-Semitism being a virus.
They fought with the maintenance crew there. They assaulted students. They broke through windows, destroyed property, hung Intifada banners from the building. And the law enforcement was nowhere to be found. We're told that NYPD is outside the perimeter of the campus, but they have not been invited in. And they won't go until they are invited. What are university officials waiting on? What do they need to see before they stand up to these terrorist sympathizers? And that is exactly what they are. What's worse, though, is that Columbia's choice to ignore the safety of their Jewish students and appease anti-Semites has inspired even more hate-filled protests to pop up across the country. And what we're seeing right now is people wave Hezbollah flags and Hamas flags, their homemade signs supporting what happened on October 7th. It's outrageous. Hamas endorsed the protest at Columbia University just about 2 hours before we walked out on the steps to have our press event on Wednesday. They're proudly chanting things like death to America and profanity and hate-filled slogans. And this is utterly despicable, and it cannot be accepted in this country. Anti-Semitism is a virus. And because the administration and woke university presidents aren't stepping in, we're seeing it spread.
Well
We
put.
have to act.
Good catch there, Dan, too. The thing with this is it's not just the outrage. How does this channel politically? It's about winning again. Sometimes the morally right position that people are just upset about, it plays into the outrageous student loan stuff. It plays into what we saw with the Penn president and Harvard president when they got caught up with Stefanik in the testimony originally after this. It plays into LaSalle and their nonsense, my alma mater. It plays into all this. And the more that it's shown, and I have to say, at least CNN is showing a good bit of it. MSNBC, not so sure, no matter how they characterize it, to take over this building. I think the inflection point here, though, are these maintenance workers. They didn't like it this morning when they were interviewing the one woman on Fox about it. I just hope that guy speaks out and says, yeah, they were trying to tell me they're going to hold me here. Why don't I join up with this movement? A janitor with a Yankees hat on there at this hall. They're punks. They're entitled punks. And this is a moment. Does it play out politically? Because the Biden people are in a very, very bad
I
spot.
do have the clip of the girl that didn't know what she was talking
Oh,
about.
yeah. Oh, thank you, Dan, for tracking that down. This happened, I think, last week. And I think was it Fox again?
I don't know where it came
Yeah,
from.
it may have been even CNN. I think it was Fox. It may have been Griff Jenkins, but I'm not sure. Asking one of these students, well, what exactly is this about? And then she tries to throw the ball to her colleague, Dope, there. Here's how it sounded.
And what would you say is the main goal with tonight's protest?
I think the goal is just showing our support for Palestine and demanding that NYU stops. I honestly don't know all of what NYU's doing.
Is there something that NYU's doing?
I really don't know. I'm pretty sure they're... Do you know what NYU is doing? About what? About Israel. Why are we protesting here? Palestine will be free. I wish I was more educated. I'm not either.
Oh.
I came from Columbia. I was there up at Columbia, and we came down. They said NYU students needed our support. So I came down. I heard there's lots of cops. Some people were saying it was getting dangerous.
And what would you say is the...
Yeah, there you go. Thanks. Keep that one, Dan. We got to play that once a day. It's a perfect example. I love the Trump surrogate lawyer we had on. I'm looking at North Carolina where people are standing with Jewish students. Send in the women's rugby team to clear out that Hamel Hall or whatever it is. It might take them under 5 minutes. All right, phone lines, lightning round next. Hit us with the song you'd like to hear played as the protesters are led away one place or another. Police now at North Carolina, which is a big deal because North Carolina is like a underground progressive, even though it's in the South. And they look like they're going to remove people too. Penn, what are you waiting for? Hey, the road to the NBA Finals starts now, and new customers at FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino can go on their own playoff run with $150. Just place any $5 bet. You get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose, to use during the NBA playoffs. 3-pointers made in the game tonight. Oh, man, I'm going to go on a limb here. Dan, I'm saying the Sixers, they're not favored tonight. I'm saying the Sixers win. Play them outright to win tonight. I'm saying
203.5.
The 203.5 is the
over-under.
I'm saying they're going to go over tonight. I think they're tired. Not as much defense either team. How many points Embiid?
I don't have that in front of me.
Okay, I'll take, he's going to go 30 plus. I'm not going to, now if it's 35, no, but I'll take somewhere between 30 and 35.
Here it is. He has 32.5 is his over-under.
Still 32, and I'll take 33 on that.
Okay.
Maxey, I'm not bullish on. He's
25.5.
I take the under. He's not come up big here. Go to FanDuel.com/Dom to get started. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner.
A nice parlay. It's
Is it?
76ers money line over 203.5.
Right.
Joel Embiid over 32.5. Tyrese Maxey under 25.5. A 4-leg parlay, $10 wins you $121.89.
Wow, that's a lot. I still have faith, but it's limited with Maxey. Being realistic. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Don't miss the Labor and Energy Show with J-Doc and Krause, brought to you by Advocacy United, this Saturday night at 6. Find out about the important issues that'll affect you. The Labor and Energy Show, Saturday night at 6 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/250. Ramp.com/250. ramp.com/250.
Hi, I'm Ethan, and I attend Insight PA Cyber Charter School. At Insight PA, the teachers care about my education and my future career goals. You can choose a career pathway in business, technology, and nursing, as well as extracurricular and pre-apprenticeship programs. As a sophomore in high school, I've been presented with opportunities to grow in every aspect, from robotics to marketing. I'm so glad I got to choose and attend Insight PA.
To learn how Insight PA Cyber Charter can set your child up for the future, visit insightpaschool.org.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps, or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Legacy Box is offering a 60% discount. Order yours today and take advantage of our best Mother's Day sale ever. Visit legacybox.com/value, and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value for 60% off. legacybox.com/value.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-790-1400. 800-790-1400.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
This is Jordan Lundy of Lundy Law. When we say we hope you're never involved in an accident, we mean it. But if you are injured in an accident, we'll work quickly and tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. And when we also say we only get paid when your case is over and you get paid, we mean it. Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit LundyLaw.com.
Hey, Southampton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
Coming to you on the side question, DJ Dan just sent me this, though. The U.S. Drug Control Agency will move, says the AP, to reclassify marijuana down as a problem drug.
Oh.
That is historic, but it's an obvious Biden administration move to say, see, I give you student loans and dope. We'll definitely have to
I
hit
mean,
that
look
tomorrow.
at the Farm Bill implications on THCA, and he's already done
Yeah.
a lot to legalize it under the rug. So.
Yeah, but this is big. If the AP's right, and I think they are on this. Jim in Boyertown is first. All right, Jim, what's your song?
How are you, Dom and Dan?
Good.
Dom, you mentioned that janitor who pummeled that terrorist protester. So this song immediately came to my mind after I heard that. Now, I'm not a singer, but I'm going to give it a shot here. Are you ready? Hey, Are you ready for this? Another one bites the dust. Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Another one bites the dust. But I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready for you. I'm standing on my own 2 feet. Another one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust.
We
That's all I
appreciate
can
the
muster,
effort.
Dom.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, the effort.
Joe in Exton. Joe, what's yours today?
Yes, hello, Dom, and good afternoon. A song which may be appropriate for this occasion is the song by Sam Cooke called Chain Gang.
Absolutely, Joe. Let's hope there's some of that.
Did Joe not want to sing it, huh?
Okay, Robert, we have to squeeze tightly here. Robert, what's yours?
Hey, how you doing, Dom, Dan? I'll just get right to the answer, and I'm going to go with Closing Time. The reason why I like that song is because the last line of the first verse is, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Oh.
You guys have a great day.
All right, Dan, let me hear a couple contenders here.
I think it's
quickly.
between Jim in Boyertown, who sung his, and Robert, who sang his. I think we give extra credit for those who decided to sing today. Jim in Boyertown, another one bites the dust. Robert, you just heard with Closing Time. Don,
Both of them good. Let's go with Jim in Boyertown on this one, though.
Jim in Boyertown goes into the hat.
Name into the hat. Big prize on Friday. Oh, what a news day here. What guest? Tomorrow, Laura Trump will join us and talk about a bunch of stuff. Rich is next. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
Finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I know.
Tom Herr, and this is Susan Herr, Norvon, Pennsylvania.
Being with Crash Proof is like being in a big family. We know there's a lot of other people out there just like us, and everyone's very happy.
Yeah, they're not